here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, y'all, welcome and happy Friday. Oh, hold on, because my mic wasn't even on my mouth. Let's do that again. Take two in action, bitch. Okay, what's going on, everybody? Let me get serious. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Filtered. Happy Friday the 13th, y'all. It's your boy. And we come on this show. Y'all already know the deal. Well, for those who are here for the first time, it's a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news and pop culture. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around because we have a lot of stories too. Well, a lot of tea to spill, including we got to talk about the latest on this James Van Der Beek GoFundMe, and also a bunch of other celebrities came out and spoke out on his death. We may have some people who have thrown their hat in the ring to perform next year's Super Bowl. Dancing with the Stars, because it's gotten its resurgence, they're spinning off their show with last season's winner being the host of the show. We got to get into this Britney Spears biopic because apparently they're saying that she wants Florence Pugh or nobody at all to be in this thing. We'll talk about that. Plus, there's some rumors that have been swirling regarding what we could expect from Madonna's upcoming album. So we'll talk about that, and I'll give my overall thoughts. Cardi B is going in on Department of Homeland Security and ICE and all of them, what she said at her recent, well, I think it was the opening leg of her tour. So we'll talk about that. Plus, another former housewife, Bethenny Frankel, got herself caught up in some mess because she gave her opinion on the whole Bad Bunny thing. People are dragging her. And while y'all might be shocked, but I might be coming to her defense on this one. So we're going to break that story down. Plus, we got who's going to be replacing Jill Zarin now that she's been fired from that new show over there on the E! Network, a fellow New York housewife alum. We'll get into that. Plus, Andy Cohen broke his silence on the whole Jill Zarin firing. I think he spoke about on his radio show. We got to get into this tea surrounding Kandi Burruss and this whole situation regarding her and Todd. Well, apparently the word on the curb is she kicked him out of the house and all this other mess. So we'll get into that. Plus, we got a couple of days before this new America's Next Top Model docu-series drops on Netflix. And apparently, Lisa D'Amato, who was a part of the show, she's throwing shade and she's speaking out. Plus, we may have some news about the possibility that Top Model may be getting a revival. So we'll talk about that. Plus, we got some an excerpt from David Archuleta's upcoming book. He's spilling tea and talking about that he tried to take his life a couple of times. So we're going to break that down. Plus, we have some more Super Bowl Bad Bunny tea to spill, including there was apparently a spike in Pornhub searches post his whole little situation. So we got that. Plus, one of the dancers at the center of the Bad Bunny Super Bowl gate grinding moment, they started coming for him and he did a whole clapback. So we got that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, wait, hold on a second, because I feel like my mic sounds weird. Let me check see, I'm like running around my chicken like a chicken with his head cut off. Yeah, it's not even on the. All right, so if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, smash the notification, all that good stuff definitely helps with the algorithm. Also, if you want to become a member, you could definitely do that. We have membership set up. So yeah, it definitely helps out with the show. And I appreciate all y'all that come in, even when my ass is late. Say I did have the show together, but I needed to fold my laundry. And on top of that, I had to wash my duffel bag because it was a mess. So I was repacking that, and then I had to feed the dogs. It was just a mess. So apparently I was literally a minute to go live, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got a lot of stuff I was supposed to do. And I did want to change the timer, but it was too late. So I started late. So when I got people coming up in here like, Devon, where the hell Chris at? That's where I was. So yeah, let me hit that. I'll leave that in there so y'all can just drop the comments in and all that good stuff. And now, without further ado, let's get into our first topic, which is let's get into James Van Der Beek story. So yeah, it was mentioned on the show because I didn't know, I didn't have all the updates or whatever, but someone had sent me the thing where they basically was saying that James Van Der Beek's friends had set up a GoFundMe. And I know a lot of people to, help with the bills and probably the funeral costs and actually help the family out because they literally maxed out all of their earnings on trying to get him to help fight this cancer. And I think what people seem to forget, because some people be up in here with this overall elitist attitude, like Oh, well, they're rich. Oh, when you're a celebrity and you're an actor and stuff that you have money. Not everybody is out here balling like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and Timothy Chalamet and Beyonce. Not everybody has that level of coin. There are people out here who are literally working actors and are basically just trying to support themselves, their families. They also have agents, managers, and a bunch of other people that they have to SAG AFTRA. Well, they call it the actors union now, which is stupid. They should just left it what it was. But you got to pay union dues and stuff too. So when you're part of a union, you have to pay for all of these things. And so they get a cut before you even see your cut of how much you made. And then on top of that, don't you have like 5 or 6 kids? So that's a lot of mouths to feed. And plus you got a wife and all that stuff, and I doubt she was working. So um with all of that being said, I'm not sitting over here judging people's survival or whatever the case is. And y'all have to also, this is why I've always gone so hard on the fact that we need universal health care in this country, because it's not the likes of, and maybe somebody will be smart enough to look at this situation with James Van Der Beek, because I already know, like, sometimes it takes a celebrity going through some shit for all of a sudden the world to wake up and pay attention to what's going on in the world. And so we should be demanding universal health care in this country. People should not be having to use up their life savings and sell all of their belongings just so that way they can stay alive. Like, why is that even a thing? Like, that's crazy to me. Whereas in other countries, they have universal health care and they don't have these issues. But in America, if we question it as a problem, or if you want universal health care, there are people out here who are against it. The corporations and a lot of you idiots that apparently like paying for this shit. Because I'm like, because y'all here free, and then you get mad because it's like, oh, you want the free stuff, but you don't want them other people over there to have the free stuff because you're looking at it from a selfish standpoint. So that's why the GoFundMe and everything was set up. And I'm sure you could read by the lower third that basically, I don't think they were expecting this much, but yeah, within like a 24-hour period, they managed to scrape $2 million together in the GoFundMe. I know Steven Spielberg donated some money. Zoe Saldana donated. She also has, I believe, set up a monthly thing where she can send $2,500 a month. So there are people out here that are genuinely really trying to help these people make this money. But I really think that the real rub that we should be focusing on is the fact that yes, universal health, this should be a push for universal health care. So hopefully there'll be some celebrity out there or whatever that decides to take this before Congress. But if we're expecting this to happen during this administration, that's not happening. Especially when we have this president that is, in cahoots with the oligarchs and all the corporations and the healthcare, heads and all that other stuff. So that's not going to get pushed through with this administration or regime, because that's what we'll call them. Hopefully with the next administration, but I don't know. As long as we got these centrist Democrats here who like to stay within the status quo, nothing's going to really change unless we as a people demand it. So, yeah. So, the article, according to Variety, says Van Der Beek, who starred as Dawson Leary on the hit WB series Dawson's Creek, died on February 11th following a battle with colorectal cancer. Shortly after the news broke, friends launched a GoFundMe to support his wife, Kimberly Van Der Beek, and their 6 children. Saying, quote, in the wake of the loss, Kimberly and the children are facing an uncertain future. The cost of James's medical care and the extended fight against cancer has left the family out of funds. This is what the message on GoFundMe read. They are working hard to stay in their home and to ensure the children can continue their education and maintain some stability during this incredibly difficult time. The support of friends, family, and the wider community will make a world of difference as they navigate the road ahead. Now, the friends who created the page thanked the fans on February 12th for their donations, stating or saying, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for showing up for James and his beautiful family. Your kindness has meant more than we can put into words. In the middle of deep grief, your support has been a light. It reminds us that love is real, the community is strong, and that James's spirit continues to bring people together. They also added that the family is spending time together to mourn and ask for privacy, saying your respect and understanding will give them the room they need to heal. The statement continues. Please continue to keep James's wife and loved ones in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you for honoring his life and compassion with compassion, generosity, and love. So yeah, shout out to the Van Der Beek family, and so many people out there that are struggling right now and have family members who are suffering from the big C and are fighting through this on trying to stay alive alive, and I feel definitely for those people out there who have to damn near just max out their cards and just lose everything just so that way, because these damn medications and chemo and all that shit is expensive unnecessarily. So it's like we have to pay so much money just to stay alive when staying alive is a right and a privilege. But there was one thing that I take issue with, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. I've been kind of going back and forth. Maybe I'm reading too deep into it, but Alfonso Ribeiro posted a picture of him with his, spending the final moments with James Vanderbeek. And when I saw the picture, I think it may have triggered me a little bit because it reminded me of my grandmother when she was dying of cancer. And this was like a month, she passed a month after 9/11. And so seeing people in that condition, and I don't know if I get that he is very close to the family. He is the godfather to one of James's kids, but and I know Kimberly took the photo, but I don't know, for some reason it just kind of, I'll post the picture in case y'all didn't see it, but um, it felt a little exploitative to me. I mean, I get that's your friend and you genuinely cared for him and loved for him, and y'all had a close connection and a deep friendship, and he was on Dancing with the Stars and all this stuff. But I just felt a way about it. But anyway, so he wrote, "This was taken by Vander Kimberly just a few minutes before I said my last goodbye. My last moment was making him laugh one last time. I really miss him already." So, everybody is putting up their heartbroken emojis and prayer emojis and this, that, and the other, and that's awesome. But I don't know, I just felt a way about when he posted that picture. But people grieve in their own little ways, and people deal with how they deal with things in their own way. So, but to me, I don't know if I would have personally put that picture out there for the world to see. I would have liked to have kept something like that near and dear to myself. But that's just me. But anyway, I want to definitely hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding? Do you feel that it was a little cringe for Alfonso to post that picture, or do you just think that maybe I'm thinking too much into it? And then also, the thing regarding the GoFundMe. It's good to see that with all the chaos that's going on in this world right now and all the back and forth infighting, that this regime is loving the fact that we're fighting amongst each other as a distraction from all the other things they're over there doing, like stealing from the government. Um, it's good when we can have those moments of finding common ground, reminiscing about the fact that those of us who grew up on Dawson's Creek and loved the show and loved a lot of the people that came from the show, like for example, Katie Holmes giving writing a handwritten letter, expressing how she felt and posting on social media. Sarah Michelle Gellar coming out and saying something. Kevin Williamson, who created Dawson's Creek, coming out and giving his overall post on Instagram, and so many others. And the fact that we could all come together with a common goal and just it'd be positive for once and not just people fighting over the stupidest things. So anyway, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Love you too. So I saw James died the same day Whitney. Oh Lord, I did not want to be thinking about that. The fact that um him and Whitney died. And didn't she pass like the day before the Grammys? That was like right after they had the little pre-Grammy party. He passed on the 14th anniversary of Whitney's death. I know that's like crazy. The babies may get their Wheaties and not have to worry about the rent. That's a good thing for now, and I like the fact that Zoe Saldana did set up a, like a little monthly stipend. I think that uh Steven Spielberg sent like $20,000, which is kind of fun. Well, kind of funny in a way. Not funny, haha, but funny because remember, if you watch Dawson's Creek, the whole point of like Dawson Leary, he wanted to be a filmmaker, and his favorite filmmaker was Steven Spielberg. So to hear like Steven Spielberg sent that money, and then Zoe sent money, and now she's kind of like set up a monthly thing where they can get something. I just think that's commendable. It looks a little tacky from Alfonso. I would never have put that out. Yeah, that's all I was saying. Like for me, I just feel maybe I'm from a different. But then anyway, he older than me. He should know better. So it just felt a little bit like, oh, you just want to have a little moment and exploit it, even though maybe you weren't thinking about it that way. But Hollywood is about ego, so that's kind of like how I was looking at it. All right, y'all. So now let's move on and let's get into our next topic. Which is okay. So now that Bad Bunny is done doing what he's doing, and everybody with the fake outrage and all this other drama that's going on, I guess it's still going to continue because people are still talking about it and decoding and taking apart the damn thing and still discovering new things. And then you got the people over there on the Fox side that are just with the fake outrage. Well, one of the groups that have kind of thrown their hat in the ring in regards of who want to perform at next year's Super Bowl halftime is the Backstreet Boys. And you want to know something? I'm actually kind of for it. I think I definitely would like to. I think that that's the direction they should go because at this point, I'm like, with Kendrick doing what he did, and he kind of like I mean, yeah, we had Beyonce who was doing a lot of political stuff in her show with like the Black Panther stuff and Black empowerment and all that stuff, what she did with the Super Bowl. And then I feel like the one who really went there with like the deepness of culture and so many different symbolisms was Kendrick. And then it's like the football got past the Benito and he kind of just took it to the next level. So at this point, it's like I feel like many artists are probably going to feel like, well, how do I top Bad Bunny's performance? And I feel like instead of trying to figure out how to top the performance and trying to feel like feel that this pressure that you have to put so many Easter eggs and all these other things into your performance, why don't we take it back to just simple getting up there and performing? And here's the thing, say what you want about all these other these boy bands or whatever the case is, but Backstreet Boys have been still out here performing for the past 3 decades, a little over, and they have a residency at the Sphere, which has been successful. Every time they tour and they perform, people come out and see them. So they're in a way, yes, they're a nostalgia act like a Journey or a Rolling Stone or all these other bands, but bringing it back to basis of like nostalgia, I feel like is definitely a direction the Super Bowl needs to go. But it all depends on if Jay-Z is willing to just be like, okay, let's go there with that. Either that or that people gonna still want to be out here campaigning for Taylor Swift. Because y'all been campaigning for her to do the Super Bowl for the past almost, I think, half decade at this point, maybe even more. So according to E! News, they said as the boy band continued into their millennium residency in Las Vegas, they're proposing to bring their nostalgic set list and coordinating outfits on another important stage, the 2027 Super Bowl, saying, "What do you guys think? Backstreet Boys 2027 Super Bowl halftime." This is what AJ McLean asked the crowd during the show at the Las Vegas Sphere on February 11th, per a fan video from at JPask24, saying, "Let's make it happen." I mean, why not? It's in Los Angeles. It's right down the street. Well, yeah, well, LA and Vegas are kind of neighbors, but you got to take a plane to get from LA. But that's how big it is. But anyway, so while the Shape of My Heart singers are consisting of Kevin Williamson, Howie Durrell, Nick Carter, Brian Luttrell, did y'all forget? Oh, well, I was gonna say, did y'all forget one? But AJ was already talking, so they're not gonna include him because he already said what he said. They said, are eager to perform a medley at next year's big game. They weren't always open to the idea. In fact, Nick previously revealed the band declined to headline the 2001 Super Bowl and sang the national anthem instead, saying, quote, "At the time we loved the Whitney Houston rendition of the national anthem, and for us we got the choice and we passed on the halftime," the 46-year-old told Entertainment Tonight in 2021. "But it was a memorable experience for everyone, and I like to say we did a great job at the national anthem." He also praised fellow boy band NSYNC, who starred in that year's halftime show alongside Aerosmith, Britney Spears, and that's when she had a sock on her arm, Mary J. Blige, and Nelly, for doing a great job during their set, noting he loved to share the stage with them in the future. Quote, "That again is going back to an era we came from, the late 90s. It was a really beautiful time, and I think everybody wants that again. They want that feeling coming out of this, everything we have gone through together in society for the past year and a half." He continued, "We want to be part of the story of love and growth and just coming out of the dark. I think that's why this event is so special to us." So, to be honest, I definitely would love to see this. And also, I'm sure the last time we saw the Backstreet Boys, they have a Super Bowl ad out with T-Mobile. I don't like the commercial. I thought it was kind of corny, where they were singing their Everybody song for Coinbase. Oh, there's a karaoke session for everybody for Coinbase, but it was I Want It That Way they were doing for the whole Super Bowl halftime thing. I didn't like the commercial. I thought it was like stupid, but we get it. Y'all have to make up and change up the lyrics and do all these other things because it's a thing. You're getting a lot of money that you got to split 5 ways, I guess, with T-Mobile. T-Mobile paid them a mint for it, so go for it. Do what y'all got to do to make y'all a little money. I'm not judging y'all on that, but then I think they were saying that oh, and then also they mentioned the whole thing about, and I think I may have brought this up because everybody's talking about we need an NSYNC arena tour, which they've been talking back and forth about, but then Justin Timberlake, they keep saying goes back and forth on it. And the back and forthness, I'm like, well, maybe because he's either flaking out on it or the excuse is the Lyme disease. Because didn't he say he got Lyme disease? So I wouldn't mind a Backstreet Boys in sync double header if they did something like that, where they kind of had, remember NKOTBSB? That was New Kids on the Block and the Backstreet Boys when they did a tour together. And I think they brought on another boy band on that too, if I'm not mistaken. But I would love a Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC type situation, but Justin got to be on board. And I don't know if I see him wanting to come back and do the show because I think he'd be acting like he's too damn big for NSYNC. But if y'all want to bring the other four back on, be my guest. But in regards to this, I would definitely love to see NSYNC. I mean, not NSYNC. I would love to see BSB do the Super Bowl halftime. Now the question remains: is it them by themselves, or do we need them to kind of bring out all the different boy bands like 90? Well, I was going to say 98 Degrees, not 98 Degrees. I never cared for 98 Degrees. You can bring all the other boy bands out, like take. Well, I was going to say take that, but people in the U.S. don't even know who that is. I'm trying to give names, but I mean, do we bring other boy bands into the mix, or do we just keep it Backstreet Boys? Maybe we could get a surprise with NSYNC coming on board. Oh, and maybe this would be like they could do a surprise how they did with Lady Gaga. Maybe that just for this performance, they could sneak out Britney Spears and get her to come in and just pop out of the floor, and you have all her dances, and she kind of do a medley of her hits. Bitch, the children of my generation, we will lose our shit if y'all did that. And that would be an iconic moment. So I feel like at this point, nothing can really beat what Bad Bunny did because what he did was just so culturally significant that I just feel like at this point, maybe just to cool the waters, and I don't give a fuck about what them ignorant idiots over there at Turning Point, or as I like to call them, to pussy, um, or Fox News and all these other, I don't care what they got to say on this because y'all were gonna hate on the damn thing regardless. But I feel like in this point, because we are so up here in regards of everything, that what needs to happen is just do it just a straight up nostalgia performance at the Super Bowl. So I think that that will be good if they did that next year. Then the following year, then y'all can go back to the controversy. But we kind of need to just wash the palate a little bit and just give good old fashioned performance. Because you know the thing with the Backstreet Boys, they have good songs. They're unproblematic. So yeah. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you like to see the Backstreet Boys perform at next year's Super Bowl? I just hope whoever they pick it'll be interesting. But at this point, I don't know who y'all can get to top Bad Bunny after all of this. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mhm. I said, damn, I got to scroll the way up. It looks like, oh yeah, I read that one. Honestly, no, thank you. We got one vote. Um, 13G Mom said, go for it. Kevin said they got a good chance of seeing how the NFL been choosing shit shows. Forget all these Easter eggs and just perform. Yeah, because on one hand, it's just like it'd be ignorant to say, well, I don't want to have to always do homework every time I like. Don't get me wrong, I love the Bad Bunny performance. I liked unpacking all the things that was going on with that show, but I feel like at this point, I just want to see a good old performance. But if you want to put political whatever stuff in your show, you go ahead and do that. But to be honest, what this administration has been doing it was warranted for Bad Bunny to do the show that he did, especially when you have a regime going after the Hispanic community. So I'm not surprised. Devin said, "Why don't they just do a boy band Super Bowl?" And yeah, that would be good. I don't know why I didn't think of New Edition, but yeah, I was like, let's do New Edition. Let's do New Kids on the Block. Let's bring out NSYNC. We could do like a history of the boy bands, and maybe y'all could throw some of them UK ones up in there. They'd be like, "Who's that?" Maybe it'll get you interested in their music. Have you guys ever seen the parody to "I Want It That Way" song called I Want a Fat Babe"? The Snack Street. No, that is the first time I'm hearing about that. Who was that? No one will be able to top the bunny. Yeah, that's why I said nobody's gonna be able to top that performance. So um just take it, just play it. I hate using the word let's play it safe, but instead so just so that way people could just we get into this one and see good old performances. Um just do a straight up regular safe choice like in like Backstreet Boys. Backstreet pre-retirement home show. Well, we've had older people of a certain age perform during the Super Bowl halftime before, so they wouldn't be the first or the last. Taron says, "Hello, hello, hello." Not non-sync or lip sync. Don't they all lip sync kind of? I always thought they all get up there and lip sync. The Backstreet Boys performing their not three hit songs. They got a lot of songs in 12 to 14 minutes. Some other boy, no, we ain't talking about Kid Rock, child. Now he got like three songs. I could only name two. Picture with Sheryl Crow and Borrowed the Bond. That's because those two were big hits over on MTV. And TRL to be specific. Britney would never want to perform on the halftime. I mean, she did in the past. You must not watch this show because if you did, you know where I stand on do I support Trump and or ICE. Look, we're all giving our pleasantries. All right. So now let's move on to the next topic. I was like, wait, let me close that window before we go into our next story. Someone suggested Pink. I would like to see Pink. I think Pink would be good because Pink be doing all them crazy somersaults and stuff. I would like to see her do it. I don't know why she wouldn't. I mean, her age, I would say, girl, get up there and do it. I've always wanted Pink to do the Super Bowl. And look, word on the street is they're trying to try her out to possibly be a new talk show host. That's why they said she's going to be covering, I think, Kelly Clarkson's show for a couple of episodes. So I'm like, I love you, Pink, but why are we still doing the whole turning singers into talk show host trend? Like, no, please, no. And Pink is funny. She's got a personality and stuff, but yeah, I would definitely love to see Pink. Wait, I thought Missy had her own show. Wait, no. Katy Perry brought her out like when she was some nostalgia act. I was like, you tried it. I mean, it was good to see her up there, but not with standing next to basic ass Katy Perry. I do agree that Missy definitely deserves her own. Maybe they could do that. So I say, look, I'm glad y'all throwing names out because I couldn't think of nobody. So we don't do the boy band thing. I definitely would love to see Pink, and I definitely think Missy Elliott would do it because Missy Elliott's Coachella performance last year was it last year or the year before? When it got wait no because she did it with Gaga, so it was last year. So Missy Elliott doing something like what she did with Coachella. Oh, that would be everything. I would love to see her do her very own. I mean, she has a lot of choreography. Her stuff was always before its time. She always pushed the boundaries of like the music sound and hip hop and all those things. I think Missy Elliott would be a good choice too. Christina keeps trying to throw her hat in the ring, but that not that chop hoe. I like Christina, but I don't. Chris, Christina is the pop equivalent of always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Like I mean, I like some of the songs. I was up at Justice for Bionic, but she always gave always the bridesmaid, never the bride tease. Like she was never that girl that could really excel to like the top, the creme de la creme, the A list. She gave second rate and was always doing too much with the runs and the vocals. I mean, it does happen. Sometimes we tend to forget Pink. Talented girl. Always tends to sell out multiple dates when she the queen of Australia stadium shows. But yeah, she can be easily forgotten, unfortunately. I don't think a lot of people think about her too. Said Pink would be a good choice that I would like to see. Yeah, because like Pink is a great live performer, so we definitely need to get her up there. All right, so now since we were talking about Dancing with the Stars earlier, when we were talking about the co-host Alfonso Ribeiro, let's actually talk some Dancing with the Stars news. Because word on the street is that they're developing a spinoff because last season Dancing with the Stars had a resurgence in ratings, so apparently people care about the show again. But now they have a new show where they're looking for their next pro dancer. I think they're trying to do something like a cross between So You Think You Can Dance and Big Brother, because they're gonna have the dancers living together in the same house. So, and they're looking at Robert Irwin, yeah, Bendy fine brother, to host the show. So the Dancing with the Stars world is continuing to grow with a new spinoff. Dancing with the Stars, The Next Pro, will feature up-and-coming professional dancers who will live in a house together and compete in a grueling audition process. Did not tell y'all, So You Think You Can Dance meets Big Brother. The winner will land, or it could be the real world, the winner will land a coveted spot as a pro dancer on the next season of Dancing with the Stars. She think that's a good idea. That's sort of like y'all looking for the next big pro dancer, and then you find that talent and you bring them on the main show, and they get to have a moment to dance with a celebrity. So that would be a cool idea. I think that is a really good idea. Yeah, I might actually watch this because I wasn't watching. I didn't particularly care for Dancing with the Stars, but this actually sounds relatively interesting. So likely to air this summer on ABC and Hulu. That's if Hulu still exists, because y'all keep talking about y'all gonna merge it with Disney Plus. Wildlife conservationist Robert Irwin, who won the season 34 Dance with the Stars Mirrorball, is in talks to host. Now, Mark Ballas, who is he still on the Traders? I'm like I'm a couple of episodes behind, so I don't know who's still there. So, but Mark Ballas is on the show. I wonder, do he still got his man bun? Because he walking around looking like Kenny G with all that hair. So Mark Ballas, who has won Dancing with the Stars 3 times, is being eyed to judge as his mother, Shirley Ballas, who is known as the Queen of Latin. Also a professional ballroom dancer, Shirley Ballas has served as the head of judge on BBC One Strictly Come Dancing, which y'all know is where Dancing with the Stars is from, because Strictly Come Dancing was the original idea. And she's been on there since 2017. Additionally, a rotating mentor pro will join them at the table each week. Now, both Mark and Shirley have competition series experience outside the dancing world, too. She competed on Celebrity Bear Hunt in 2025. What the hell is that? I've never heard of that show. And he's on the current season of The Traitors. Now, over the past 20 years, Dance with the Stars has had dozens of professional dancers. Mark Ballas joined the show in 2007 and has competed on 21 seasons. In season 34, the show introduced a new pro, Jan Ravnik, who came straight from Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. Now, throughout the season, he became a large topic of conversation after former pro Maxim Chmerkovsky, who they won't be asking because he got a whole lot to say, came for Ravnik, said during a podcast interview that Ravnik had absolutely no business being a pro on the show. There's zero foundation, technique, quality, understanding of the partnership, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Okay, so this show called The Next Pro, I actually think this is a good idea. So that way they can go and search for the next big main dancer or whatever. And then whoever wins, I guess you win a trophy, maybe some money, and you get a job. So why not? Because I think that is the future. At this point, when y'all got the same tight ass dancers up in there doing the foxtrot and the foxtrot and the quick step, you want to kind of look for this next big person. And I guess I don't know if people at home get to choose, like they get to vote in for Dancing with the Stars every week. But if that's the case, then people who tune in and be like, "Oh, look, I voted for that person to win the show." So I think this is a good idea. Um, Hopefully, Robert Irwin has the chops to actually host the show. I don't think he needs a co-host like y'all try to do with Tom Bergeron, like y'all did with Tom Bergeron and Tyra Banks, and now Alfonso Ribeiro. Maybe just have him host the thing by himself. It'll be interesting to see, like, okay, you got Mark and his mother there, and then the following week, I mean, that every week the third chair is just a rotating judge. That might be interesting because then you get different perspectives. But then again, I don't know because I'll be feeling the way like how I'll be feeling when I be watching RuPaul's Drag Race, but y'all be bringing them celebrity guest judges in. If they're just critiquing off of what they're seeing in that moment, if they don't know you from week to week, I don't know if I'd be comfortable with some stranger coming and judge me on something when you ain't seeing how I've been doing throughout the show. So however they plan on doing this, I'll definitely be interested to check this out. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Regarding that they're looking to come out with a new Dance with the Stars spinoff, meaning that if you are a professional dancer, you too can get on this show. I just wish they kind of brought in different styles of dance besides ballroom and not just when they do freestyle, the freestyle episode or whatever. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Lord, I thought you said Robert Irvine was like the chef. Wait, I meant no, Robert Irwin. I said Bendy brother, not Irvine. Can you imagine? All right, y'all. So now, since we was talking about Britney earlier, let's talk about Britney again. So apparently, we've been sitting here waiting with bated breath, and I say that sarcastically because I haven't been waiting here for with bated breath for this Britney Spears biopic to finally get off the ground. I don't know what's going on with it. Every time y'all ask John M. Chu, what's the tea? Now tell me what's the tea. Um, we're still working on it. It's in progress, whatever. I'm like, okay, so when y'all gonna get it cracking? I mean, it's not that hard to find a screenwriter. Maybe get the same damn screenwriter that wrote the Michael Jackson biopic or the Bohemian Rhapsody biopic. Maybe get him to write, since he know how to write biopics so damn much. Let him write the Britney biopic. I who hasn't read The Woman in Me? I read it. I got the book. I listened to Mariah Carey, but I read Britney's book because I wanted to like read the whole thing. Although it would have been nice to hear Michelle Williams say, faux shiz, while I'm sitting there watching it. But anyway, so the word on the curb is there's a story that I saw on social media. It's not from like any verified site. It was something like a e-news channel or something or another that had the story, but it wasn't like E News, like the network. It was something that goes by. I'm like, how y'all allowed to use the same names and stuff? That can confuse people. So isn't a very odd thing. So we could take it with a grain of salt, but let's entertain it for entertainment purposes. Because apparently Brittany wants Florence Pugh and feels like if Florence Pugh isn't picked to play the role, then because she has great acting range, then she doesn't want the movie to happen. So they said Universal Pictures develops its highly anticipated Britney Spears biopic, insiders are whispering about a powerful clause buried inside the singer's recent $200 million catalog deal. According to reports, Britney Spears retained what some are calling a golden veto, the right to pull her music from the film if she disapproves of key creative decisions, including casting. And at the center of the speculation, one name, Florence Pugh. Now, sources claim Spears has privately championed Pugh for the role, believing the Oscar nominated actress possessed the emotional weight required to play her complex life story. From Pugh's haunting turn in Midsommar to her layered performance in Little Women, she has built a reputation for intensity and depth, qualities Spears reportedly sees as essential. If the studio were to cast what one insider described as a typical pop starlet, Spears would allegedly revoke music licensing rights central to the project. Without iconic tracks like Baby One More Time, Toxic, or Gimme More, the film would lose its sonic backbone, an unthinkable scenario for a biopic built around one of the most recognizable catalogs in pop history. The leverage is real. Spears' memoir, The Woman in Me, broke sales records and reignited global interest in her story. The book forms the foundation for the upcoming film. Now, director John M. Chu, fresh off of high profile successes, including Crazy Rich Asians and Wicked, has publicly downplayed specific casting rumors. He insists the project remains in early development stages and that no final decisions have been made. However, Chu has confirmed Spears will be very involved in the creative process, an unusual level of influence for a studio for a subject of a studio-backed biopic, Producer Mark Platt, known for prestige-driven productions, adds another layer of seriousness to the endeavor. The film isn't positioned as a glossy pop spectacle, but as a dramatic reclamation of narrative. The stakes extend far beyond casting. Britney's journey from her breakout days in the Mickey Mouse Club to chart-dominating early 2000s Rant and a 13-year conservatorship demands nuance. Okay, so I do think honestly that with all this, I think Florence Pugh would be a good choice to play her. But Florence Pugh auditioned to play Madonna, but you already know that role went to Julia Garner. I think also Debbie Harry wants her to play her in her Bible. Everybody wants Florence Pugh. Debbie Harry wants her for her movie, and I think she'd be a great choice to play Debbie Harry because I love Blondie. Um, as far as Britney Spears, I mean, it would be good to see her play her. I Please no. If y'all thinking Tate McRae, hell no. I don't think that John M. Chu would be the type that would be like, oh, I'm just gonna pick some pop starlet to play you. He like what kind of fool you taking for? That man has been in the business for a long time. He knows casting, he knows what'll be right for the part. You can find, I mean, if any of these big names will come in there, you can pick an unknown. But it also has to be up to Florence if she wants to play this part or not. So yeah, Brittany in this iron clause that they're claiming that she has, where she's like, "Oh, I want Florence Pugh." It's like, but if Florence don't want to do it because of scheduling conflicts and she's got other things going on, or just she doesn't want to play that part, then what you going to do? Not make the movie? Because this is an opportunity for you to make some extra money. Because quiet as it's kept, you ain't putting nothing out there to require any kind of supplemental income coming in. So that little 200 million you make, yeah, that's cute for now, but eventually that's going to deplete as well. So then you're going to be looking for the next thing, which would be the biopic, which you're probably going to benefit from wholeheartedly. So while this is all great and all, I'm trusting in Universal. They know what they're doing. They're going to pick whoever's the right person for the role. In the perfect world, it'd be great to see Florence Pugh come in and play Britney. But if situations prevail or whatever the case is, then y'all got to come with a plan B, C, or D. And if she's not going to be able to do it, then what are you going to do? Like cancel the film? So good luck to y'all over there working on this film and developing it whenever it's gonna come out. It probably won't come out until like 2030 when I was gonna say when Britney's 50, but she won't be 2030. But anyway, I say all this to say, well, maybe she would be 50. How old is she? She's like 43, 42. No, it'll be a while. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I mean, are you here for the fact that do you see Florence Pugh playing Britney in the biopic? And if not, who do you think would be a good choice? Or maybe they should just go with an unknown. Maybe that would be a better idea. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Not a comedy. Say Florence Pugh, LMA, not that many O's. Well, is Britney ever serious about anything? She be always wearing panties 10 sizes too small and always twirling with that runny raccoony mascara on her face. So y'all be thinking she serious? Let me look at her. No, see, I said serious, and now this bitch Siri starting her mess again. Let me look at her again. How does she? Well, here's the thing. I don't always think when you cast people that it needs to be an exact look-alike or an interpretation of the person. I feel like if you can capture the essence, or maybe interpolation would be the right word to use. If you can capture the essence of the person, then I'm here for it. But then again, I was trying to find examples. It was gonna be hard. Okay, Rami Malek did look like Freddie Mercury. Angela Bassett did look like Tina Turner. I mean, she had I mean, them arms a little too big though, but I mean, she was looking like a little bodybuilder-ish. But she definitely had Tina Turner down. So some of the people I mean, damn, and Jafar Jackson. I mean, luckily the boys got some talent because it was like, yeah, you trying to find just a regular schmegular actor that played Michael, it would have been hard. So picking up somebody out of the family because they all kind of look alike. That is the kind of the perfect choice. But yeah, I was thinking this too. I feel like because I'm thinking, yeah, you're gonna be telling her younger years, like, what are we? She's gonna be playing Britney, like when she's doing all the "Oops, I Did It Again" stuff. I mean, in a way, maybe she could play younger, but when you look at Florence Pugh, she gives me 25, 20. She gives me mid-20s, mid to late 20s. So I don't know. I don't see that, working out that way. This is like when Lil Kim okay, and it's like, Kim, I know you be having issues with your body dysmorphia and all that other stuff, but ma'am, you was never a light-skinned woman, a light-skinned Latina. So you wanting Christina to play you instead of old girl from 3LW. I'm like, you bugging. Oh, she kind of looks like that's what I said. Debbie Harry said that she wanted her to play her just to be messy pink on Britney's understudy. She was upset that I sitting in her chair and was going to shut down the entire production. Oh yeah, she fucked with the right one. Cause I tell you, don't fuck with a Virgo. We'll definitely get your ass together. Okay, I just saw a pic. Florence kind of looks like her. Can she dance? But that's another thing too. You got to be able to dance. I don't think singing's a requirement. I mean, quiet as it's kept wasn't ever a requirement for Britney. As long as you get up there and do the choreography. But I do agree with Cleveland. I think at this point we need to just cast the unknown, just like y'all did with Michael Jackson's biopic. Y'all cast. Did y'all know who Jafar Jackson was before he got the part? Y'all know he's related. Florence Pugh for Britney in her 20s, 30s. Millie Bobby Brown for teenage Britney. I know everybody just wants. I've heard that um Millie Bobby Brown's name has been floating around, but I don't know. Cleveland says, "Hello, everybody." Not panties 10 times smaller. I mean, am I lying? Y'all want a Cyndi Lauper movie? I mean, I wouldn't mind a Cyndi Lauper movie if she got an interesting story to tell and is willing to tell us things we don't know about herself. So yeah, if Cindy got a story to tell, I'm here for it. I don't know much about Cyndi Lauper except the songs or whatever. If Kim's self-destructive ways will always be you said Little Kim's self-destructive ways will always be a sad case. Love the Notorious. Yeah, we love the music. Look, my favorite album of hers. Yeah, Notorious KM. That's more the pop stuff. Y'all already know my favorite album. That's hardcore. I could recite that whole album. Because when you growing up, and that was a forbidden record to get your hands on. And I'm sitting there on the school bus, because I had to take a school bus to school. I'm sitting there listening to the opening when they're in the porn shop, and I'm like, listening to this record. First of all, how was I able to get my hands on that record? Because it said parental advisory, explicit. You know the thing, because we had to put it from Tipsy Gore. Yeah, that's what I call Tipper, Tipsy. Because she was tipsy when they came up with that stupid parental advisory mess. Listen to the album, you hear the beating of the meat and all the other stuff before we go into Big Mama thing. I'm like, and that was the gag because it was like you had to use your imagination in those days, and then your hormones was raging and all that kind of stuff. So that was a different time to be had. We didn't have social media. We didn't have all the things where a lot of kids that are in their teens can go and access the Pornhub, because we know where y'all be over there watching, or y'all be going on certain sites, um, getting your little jollies off. I ain't gonna tell y'all the ones because I ain't out here trying to tell people business, but not warning children. Mm. I think my sinuses is acting up again because I can't even breathe through my damn nose. I hate this ever changing weather. All right, y'all. So now let's move on from the princess of pop and let's talk about the queen of pop, Madonna. Because there's this story from the same damn site that I got the Britney Spears story from that's spilling tea about what we could be expecting from this Madonna album. So let's take it with a grain of salt. Let me look it up because I think I have. Yeah, it was going by E News, but the actual thing it's enews.topnewssource.com. So that's just some unverified random site. But because we don't know what's going on with the upcoming Madonna album, let's just speculate. So, as y'all know, back in September, Madonna announced that she was returning to her dance roots on the follow-up to her previous album, Madame X. Now, a new report is revealing that what themes the Queen of Pop will be exploring her upcoming body of work that apparently has Warner Brothers shook. So, following a cryptic tease about provoking conversations, sources close to the production of her 15th studio album, due later in 2026, says the Queen of Pop is preparing what could be her most combative pivot in decades. And inside the halls of Warner Records, well, Warner Brothers Records, whatever you want to call it, excitement is reportedly matched with anxiety. The upcoming release marks Madonna's official studio return to Warner, the label that launched her career in 1982 and housed the first 25 years of her catalog. After a stretch with Interscope, which we didn't particularly care for what was going on with her relationship with Interscope, especially when her doppelganger Gaga was over there. Her discography is once again consolidated under the Warner umbrella, symbolically positioning 2026 as a legacy milestone. But insiders insist that isn't a nostalgia campaign, saying, quote, she isn't coming back to entertain you, she's coming back to settle the score. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. It's about she's not coming out to entertain you. Number one, first of all, the first thing a pop star has to do is entertain. Because if you can't entertain but also put the educational stuff up in there, which is the school, many of her daughters on down, like the Beyoncés and so many others, have incorporated into their music. If you're not entertaining us, we're not listening. So Madonna will entertain you, but she'll put little things in there that'll make you think. So that's why I'm not really on board with the sentencing, but then again, let's continue. So they said she's coming back to settle the score. Now, early fan speculation suggested a glittering sequel to Confessions on a Dance Floor after Madonna posted the cryptic phase, COADF Part 2, 2026, and it had like a glitter disco ball emoji. The reunion with producer Stuart Price, the architect of that 2005 dance revival, only fueled those assumptions. But some close to the project claim the sonic direction is far less glossy than expected. So now, instead of radio polished hooks, excuse me, and euphoric disco crescendos, the 12-track record is rumored to lean into jagged club textures, industrial undertones, and razor-edged lyricism. Themes reportedly confront ageism, media caricature, and the industry's double standards towards women over 60. Now, if Confessions was escapist release, the album is described as something sharper, more confrontational, more personal. Comparisons to Erotica are already circulating now in 19, which it would make sense because have y'all noticed that Erotica is making a resurgence? People are discovering it. It's big on TikTok. Thief of Hearts is a huge hit now. Again, not saying now. It again, like people are starting to listen to even Madonna referenced Thief of Hearts in the video, which was giving little Easter eggs based on the little books that she had as she was touching when she was moving around the room. It was giving an insight into, well, according to the Madonna sleuth, of what we could expect from the record, like some of the references that she'll be using. So, yeah, they said 1992 Madonna ignited cultural firestorms by challenging sexual politics and public morality, reshaping pop's boundaries in the process. This time, insiders say the provocation centers on power and longevity. Quote, she's using the dance floor as a battlefield. It's biting, it's fearless, and it's not asking permission. Well, that sounds about right when it comes to her. For an artist entering her late 60s, yeah, because she's what, 67, 68? She's 68, 68. I think, no, 67, because 68 is when she'll be. Jesus, let me stop doing math. Because she was born 1950? Yeah, 1958. She's using the dance floor as a battlefield, they said. Now, for an artist entering her late 60s, the refusal to soften her edges may be the most radical act of all. Now, they also talk about Warner. So they said publicly, Warner executives have celebrated the reunion as historic, a restoration of one of pop's most influential partnerships. Privately, industry chatter suggests communication teams are preparing for impact. Well, you always have to when it comes to her. Now, Madonna has never retreated from controversy, but in a hyper digital era where backlash cycles ignite in seconds, executives reportedly anticipate intense reactions, particularly if lyrics directly reference critics, cultural flashpoints, or media narratives that have trailed her in recent years. Well, who cares what her critics have to say? Her critics don't necessarily move the needle in regards to this, and people are always going to have something to say regarding her age, where they call her grandma and make the ageist comments, whatever the case is. You wish your grandmother looked as good as she does. at her age. And there's a lot of women who are in their 60s that damn sure look good and youthful. And if you got the coins to maintain your figure and your features or whatever the case is, you go ahead and do that. Money well spent. Now, they also said the 2026 rollout reportedly extends far beyond the album. She also is said to be collaborating, as you may have forgotten, with Sean Levy on a Netflix limited series exploring her life and cultural impact. Meanwhile, renewed whispers about her long discussed biopic, once linked to Julia Garner, are resurfacing. So yeah, it's not just only about the album cycle, it's all a reset. So we got the album coming, we have supposedly the bio series that's supposed to be coming out. I don't know how many episodes they're planning to do with that. And then plus you're also supposed to get a movie. So maybe the movie will I was thinking maybe they can take the approach like they did with Michael Jackson. If you need to do a two-parter. Film it all within one thing, split it into two parts. I would say like Wicked for Good, although we didn't need Wicked for Good, Quiet as It's Kept. But just film it all in one thing, split it out, show one movie, and then the next in 1 year, and then so like just to throw it out there. 2029, you release the Madonna a movie with Julia Garner, and then you release the second half in 2030, and the fans will come out and support it. Leave us on the cliffhanger. Now they said, well, look, Madonna has always been out here disturbing the peace, or whatever the case is. I don't know why anybody's surprised by any of this other stuff, but now with all that being said, let's unpack all of what was in this article. So, one thing that I've come to expect from Madonna is that even her less controversial body of work has always provoked conversation. So, when they go and say that Confessions on the Dance Floor was like all about the beats and everything, there were things themes that she explored in that record. Yes, sonically, we was up in there living, we was dancing, we was having a good old time when that era came out. But there were themes of self-empowerment, personal liberation, and independence. And then there was also she went into this, even though she's explored on other albums, like American Life. There was also Ray of Light, the introspective into the highs and lows of fame. There were those themes in there as well. There may be and there was also spirituality and religion. When you listen to Isaac, there's that introspective into spirituality and that sort of thing when you listen to the music and you listen to the lyrics. Now, if she wants to look, if she want to push the idea that women over 60 can be sexy instead of cowering in a corner waiting for the good Lord up above to call their ass home, as well as coming for those who have made ageist comments about her, then go off, auntie, and go in and let have on your haters. But I am hoping that thematically, the album will have more substance than just clapping back at at people who are hating on you. So I'm hoping that there will be other themes there, and I think that when it comes to her, that we will get that. Now, as for the industrial undertones, no shade, but I do hope sonically she will utilize the sound better than Gaga attempted to do on Mayhem, especially since she allegedly hired Mayhem producer Andrew Watt to collaborate on the new album. And y'all know Andrew Watt just won the Grammy with Gaga 2 weeks ago. So bringing Andrew Watt in and having like since they were mentioning industrial sounds or whatever, I'm here for it. Now, as for the High Wire Act Warner is allegedly walking regarding the upcoming album, y'all know who the hell y'all dealing with when you're dealing with Madonna. Otherwise, you wouldn't have signed her back at Warner. So she's not some new artist that all of a sudden woke up one morning and decided to become controversial because she needs to algorithm hustle for relevancy. So I don't know. While there's certain parts of this, I'm like, okay, I kind of believe it. Like maybe sonically, what we could be getting, there could be industrial sounds that she might be, this might be her most ambitious record to date, and maybe it is taking themes of erotica, like going back into the era, especially when you're a woman of a certain age and they're telling you that at 60 years old you can't be sexy. I'd be here for it. But before we get off on this article, I did come across this by accident. I wasn't even looking for it because I didn't even know about it. So, wait a minute. We don't need to talk about it because this was from 2014. So never mind. I just read the thing. I thought it said like it was last year, but apparently Chris can't read. But I was like, nope, never mind. Because there was a Madonna article that I thought was talking about that her album leaked early, but this was like eons ago. So never mind. Pretend I ain't said what I said. But yeah, but overall, that's basically how I feel in this situation. So in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? regarding Madonna and these rumors regarding her upcoming long-awaited release. I did also read online, but I don't know if this is true. They said the album might be coming out in June. I don't know if I agree with that because she ain't come out and said it. So until she says it, we're just gonna play it as a rumor. But what do you guys think of this story regarding the upcoming album and all the things that was mentioned regarding what we could, sound wise and lyric wise and thematically, what we could be expecting? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, you said, yeah, I know about the documentary. I haven't watched it though. I listened to the song True Blue a couple of nights ago. That is the definition of a perfect pop song to me. So bubbly, so girly, so cute. I wish it was on. So girly, so cute. I'm popular to boot. That's not the lyrics, but that's what it reminded me of. Bring it on. So bubbly, so girly, so cute. I wish it was on the Celebration Tour set list. Yeah, I definitely think that she needs to revisit some of those old songs a little more. And hopefully she'll do it on the next tour. And hopefully that she'll bring that maybe what I was hoping too, that if Erotica is kind of like the inspiration for this new album. And I love Erotica because it's very much like it's a pretty edgy record. I love a lot of the spoken word and stuff that's on there. Spoken word, because I'm thinking of words, the song. And there was a lot of spoken word tracks on there. I do hope that she will do Thief of Hearts because I would love to live at the concert where she performs that song. Matthew Redman, the writer of Encyclopedia Madonna, said it's not a real story. All right, but it was good and entertaining. That's why I was like, nobody really knows what this record sounds like. Nobody knows what we're going to be expecting. So people are just out here just saying stuff. Well, didn't she call it Confessions on the Dance Floor Part Two? That's the word. She came out and said that she's been hashtagging um she's what did it say? What was I gonna say? Oh, she has basically been hashtagging COADF part two. She's been saying that she's gonna give us it's gonna be a sequel of sorts. We don't have an the official title, but um she's talking about she wants to go back into doing dance music. I just hope that the sound of house of dance music has progressed since that record came out 20 some odd years ago. So hopefully she'll be exploring different types of sounds, and with Stewart being a DJ and everything, I'm sure he'll be bringing in some interesting stuff to go with the record. She posted a video where it looks like she's been filming the video for the first single. She's in a hotel room and she's sitting next to a dead body. Jesus. Probably will. Oh, she out here trying to. You always talking about she's redacted and you copping off of Gaga. But I'm like, first of all, Gaga did not invent industrial. We already know, like, from Nine Inch Nails and so many other artists. I mean, then again, people bring up that, yeah, you use Prince, Nine Inch Nails, David Bowie, even moments of Madonna on this new album. So it's a back and forth. But I'm sure that you will have your haters that will come out and say the whole munching off the nachos thing when it comes to her. Blonde Ambition Part One. Yeah, it's definitely themes of Judaism. We all do, and that's why I said I don't want to. I don't want to. I mean, we always expect themes of deep thought and conversation. So, I mean, in the thing, but yeah, we definitely need. I need a 808 behind the lyrics, the sound of confessions, the lyrics of erotica, and the thematics of of light. Yes, it will. Yeah, combine all of that. She's been very guarded with the album. Yeah, I mean, and she suffered from that before. What was AI and what was a fan made video? I was like, why is my lights flickering? I feel like the new album is going to be released close to the summer. Yeah, that was a conversation that the hell was that? Oh, I don't know. I'm hearing weird noises, whatever. So Um, yeah, I mean, I actually said that because there was a conversation I was having in a group chat that I'm a part of called the Rebel Hearts. So we were having a conversation. I was like, yeah, she's more likely going to move it towards the summer. I mean, first of all, it would be smart to drop it in the spring. We'll get the album before Pride Month and give the gays something to dance to in the clubs and during Pride Month and all that stuff. And who knows, maybe they can get her to do Pride again in New York. So that would definitely be the smart thing to do in regards of release because I say it's wintertime in New York. It's cold. Anybody trying to be out? The club is a bit slow during the winter. So this is not the time you want to release a single. And I just want to go through that before I got to your thing. But I didn't skip over because I get accused of skipping over people comments in the comments. Gaga has been munching off Madonna since we okay. Somebody tried to say in my comments, damn, I wish I could find it. So we could put their ass on blast. But somebody had the unlitigated go to talk about Madonna is washed up and past her prime. I'm like, but yeah, I post so much stuff in my articles that I mean on my social media that I probably wouldn't be able to find it. But while I'm sitting here talking to y'all, I'm actually trying to see if I can come across it. But it might be a while. Yeah, it's gonna take too long for me to sit up here and find it. I don't like leaving things with dead air for too damn long. 'Cause I post a lot of stuff on my social media. Y'all probably be tired of me because the amount of stuff I be posting. Anyway, let's get back into the show, y'all. And let's talk about Miss Bell Callis Almanzar. So, Cardi B is currently on her tour, promoting this Am I the Drama album. And I've seen little clips online. I know there's some people said they was underwhelmed with the dance and all that other stuff. I'm like, it's the beginning. She's probably nervous. I'm on Wigan State throwing shade at her, talking about that, oh, she's not a good dancer and all this other stuff. Look, she said she's been practicing, and I'm gonna give her at least until she comes to the garden because she's doing 2 nights next month. And I'm gonna give her until then. If you don't have the choreography in the pocket, and all the good stuff, then yeah, you gonna get red. But for the most part, she got into a bit of a kerfuffle with Homeland Security and ICE because she threw a little shade at them during the opening night of her tour, and you knew they was gonna come and have a clapback because what else they doing? They supposed to be doing government work, and they spend more time throwing shade and saying all kinds of crazy stuff on social media instead of working. So now she in a feud with this administration. Oh, sorry, regime. So it all started with her Wednesday night concert in Palm Desert, California, as part of her Little Miss Drama tour. Cardi B sounded off on any potential ICE federal agents that may have been at the concert. She said, "Bitch, if ICE come in here, we gonna jump their asses. I got some bedmates in the back. They ain't taking my fans, bitch." Now, the Department of Homeland Security's Twitter account then had a scathing reply to a TMZ article about Cardi B's ICE comments, because that old queen, Harvey, is a damn Trump supporter. So they said, as long as she don't drug and rob our agents, we'll consider that an improvement over her past behavior. This is what Department of Homeland Security posted, which was a reference to her comments years ago, how about she allegedly would drug and rob men in hotels when she worked as a scripper. Now, in 2019, she said whether or not they were poor choices at the time, I did what I had to do to survive, and I never claimed to be perfect or come from a perfect world. Unlike this administration, which tries to do all of that, we're hiding all the Epstein file stuff. And we're going to get into it in a second because that was Cardi's clapback. When I do find it funny, it was like, as long as you don't drug and rob. Oh no, because ICE is busy doing that too. We all rounding up people and sending them to a gulag, God knows where. When and people having and a lot of these immigrants that y'all grabbing, because maybe they're getting paid under the table or whatever the case is, and they've got stacks of money on him or whatever the case is, and y'all sitting there stealing their stuff. So if we're going to sit up here and talk about thievery, let's talk about the thievery. Let's talk about all the things. So she clapped back at DHS by replying, if we talk about drugs, let's talk about Epstein and friends drugging underage girls to grape them. Why y'all don't want to talk about the Epstein files? Now, since the Department of Justice unveiled more than 3 million more files of sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein in recent weeks, several celebrities, politicians, and major public figures have had to answer for their past ties with him. Trump is named more, they said more than 5,300 times. Let's change that. The unredacted files, his name been mentioned over 1,000,000 times. So it's not 5,300. Y'all were trying to be generous up in here. Wait, where did I get this article from? Variety. Y'all trying to smooth the sails a little bit. It wasn't more than 50. Well, technically, it would be more than 5,300 times. But if you talk about unredacted, it was over 1,000,000. And that's the recent story that came out. And if people want to call me a liar, whatever the case is, because I'm just the messenger, you do know Google is free and it's your friend. Look it up. I'm not talking about go to the places that you feel comfortable going to get your misinformation. I'm talking about really look up the information and do the research. So yeah, but he's denied any wrongdoing and as far has not faced any consequences. And we already know that when it comes to this country, nobody who does bad faces consequences. Now, if you were in a different country, which foreign leaders are facing consequences for getting caught up in the Epstein files, but in America, you do criminalities and things, oh, you get rewarded for it. You get to have a reality show, you get a position in the White House, you get all kinds of perks if you go out and commit white and blue collar crimes, all the crimes. Now look, Trump's ICE Gestapo, y'all really thought y'all ate with that tight ass read, but unlike Nikki, who will allow the current regime of fascist thugs to play her like a harp from hell, like they did with that gold card. Cardi, is not one to fuck with. Now, we all know all this is happening as a way to distract from Trump's name being mentioned over 1,000,000 times in them unredacted Epstein files. And Cardi's clapback is only scratching the surface regarding the deplorable things that went on in Epstein Island. Now, let's get into it. Wasn't it just reported that 330 gallons of sulfuric acid was ordered to Epstein Island around the same time federal authorities were beginning their investigation into Epstein's sex trafficking activities? Now, I've seen enough gangster movies to know that there's only one reason why a criminal would need that much sulfuric acid or just sulfuric acid in general. But that much, 330 gallons? The hell was y'all doing? So look, and then Epstein and the billionaires that frequented his island could give two shits about the people below the poverty line who they auctioned off, fucked to the high heavens, and discarded by putting some of their bodies they went too far with in that sulfuric acid and dumped them at the bottom of the ocean that surrounds the island. Also, if DHS is going to throw stones, let's talk about the story that broke 2 days ago regarding a man who reportedly does background checks for ICE getting arrested in Bloomington, Minnesota, sex ring because they was over there sex trafficking underage girls. So, or just girls in general. So we're gonna talk. Let's talk. Also, let's talk about the inhumane conditions people in these ICE facilities are being kept under, such as having a bunch of illegal immigrants packed up like sardines in one room with one toilet, or so many people getting sick in these facilities, including babies, and being denied health aid. A woman needing sanitary napkins and then instead being given diapers, or a man killing over from stomach pains and instead being checked out by a doctor, he's offered Tylenol. So if we're gonna open up this can of worms, let's go there with what's going on. But y'all not willing to do that. It's easy to come with a tight ass clapback about drugging strippers compared to probably icing up in there getting getting to rub on some ass of a stripper. They wish they can get the likes of a Cardi B to be grinding upon them. But as I said, Cardi's a big girl. She's definitely somebody who is thick-skinned and knows how to handle the likes of these morons. But I do agree, girl. You got to be careful out here with some of this stuff because then you opening yourself for a can of worms. But she ain't scared of these people. It's like, look, she's like, I'm from the Bronx. We've had to deal with crazier shit than worry about some pussy assholes like DHS. So I say all this to say what you guys think of this story regarding Cardi B going at it with, getting into a war of words with ICE and DHS. Now, whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. I like the clips I saw from Cardi's tour. There was a lot of AI generated visual breaks, and she looked a little goofy in that robot. Yeah, that robot suit looked a little weird because it makes her bad enough. You got all that shit you got from some old chop shop in the basement. She got that old tranny booty. I mean, let's call it what it is. She went to somebody's basement in the Bronx and got like something put up in there. All that cement in the behind. It makes you look crazy with that silver situation. It looks crazy on you. But I do like the little swing that she had with the wings. I was like, oh, that's cute. There was a couple of things that I noticed, but I'm definitely looking forward to like when this show comes to the garden because more than likely they will have me working it. Because when it comes to the hip hop shows, I'm gonna call out my coworkers. A lot of them are. I do be feeling like a lot of y'all are racist. I don't want to work a lot of the events when it comes to the hip hop shows because y'all be up in there put what is it? I just feel like y'all be putting a lot of emphasis on y'all be looking down on black folks when they come in with the hip hop concerts and in the Spanish concerts. Because I was saying that yesterday. I'm gonna tell it again. Look at me snitching. I ain't gonna say who said it, but um, apparently there's this group called For Here's a Mojito. That I've worked their show before. Their show was actually good. When it was at the Garden, and now it's coming to City Field. Somebody was like, "Oh, I miss the days of I actually don't need a translator to understand what people say." And I'm like, "Here we go again with you white people thinking." And we about to get into this when it comes to Bethenny in this story. Well, y'all be out here thinking that if you can't relate to it, then you don't want to deal with it. Everything ain't about you. I like working on the different shows because I get to discover new music. I get to hear different cultures, and I'm always genuinely curious about learning new stuff. So put me on any show, I don't care. Like tomorrow, I'm working Brandy Carlisle. She there today. I ain't working the show today, but I'm working her show tomorrow. And I don't particularly listen to Brandy Carlisle, but I'm interested in being able to like listen to the music and check and see how the fans are responding, all the other stuff. I like working all the different shows where some people be all up in there with they using their biases. I'm like, why are you hidden? I just hate when people work jobs and they bitch about the type of job that they have. That's always been an annoyance when it comes to me on certain things. Um, wait. Oh, wait. She did a Maroon. Well, you said going up in the air to a Maroon 5 song. Oh yeah, that song that she's on, right? Orange Turd is mentioned more times, more in them files, more times than Jesus is mentioned in the Bible. That's what I said in my last show. Mentioned more in those files more times than Jesus was mentioned in the Bible. You know, that's what I said in the last one. I said y'all probably going to throw stones at me for saying this, but I don't give a fuck because I don't believe in that book of fairy tales. I also didn't realize how many hits Cardi. Yeah, she got a lot of songs. Yeah, this might be her second album, but she was putting out a lot of songs and a lot of bobs. And first of all, she got some fine ass dances too. So shout out to her. She really got a good eye. I also didn't realize how many hits Cardi has. I knew the lyrics to most of the set list besides the songs for the new album. She really is that girl. And I know the Barb's about to gag because look at Cardi. Even though she may not be the best dancer in the world, she's definitely giving you showmanship. She's giving you a real show. When I was working Nikki's show, I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like you are a mess up there. The way they constructed the show and these weird little breaks that y'all was having, I'm like, who structured this and thought this was okay to put this out here and have people spending their money to come watch this foolishness? So at least it's funny because I worked Nikki's show, her last Pink Friday 2 tour. I worked Megan Thee Stallion show. Now I'm gonna get to, and then fingers crossed, even though it's probably gonna happen. Work Cardi show. So it's like seeing those, I'm like, look, I'm working all the female rapper shows. I mean, that's what it's giving. Any booty. Okay, so we talked about it. I mentioned it, and now let's get into it. Let's talk about Miss Frankel. So Bethenny Frankel, another Real Housewives of New York City alum, is now come under fire because apparently some people felt like they wanted to drag her over her recent comments about Bad Bunny. So why is she always looking like she coming out of something, the shower, or she need a sandwich or something? But anyway, so Apparently, she's lashing out at anyone who was trying to tear her down because of a viral video that she posted and then deleted. So now, in the now removed clip, the Real Housewives clip. Now I started thinking of Dorinda. The Real Housewives of New York City alum, who's 55, opened with a warning that she might get canceled with this before launching into a broader question about whether major entertainment platforms should be used to express personal or political views. She said, should these entertainment vehicles, the Grammys, the Emmys, the Oscars, the Super Bowl, should this be a place for personal, cultural, political views to be expressed? She acknowledged there are moments when discussion of world events is unavoidable, citing COVID tragedies and 9/11. Well, quiet as it's kept, y'all don't even want us to talk about 9/11. And when one artist did, Madonna, during the American Life era, oh, y'all tried to blacklist her and destroy her career. So, um, where she even had to like remove the American Life video and it was a bunch of flags and shit in the background. Now the video is out and people don't feel a sense of craziness regarding it. But at the time, it was very controversial when that video came out. But yeah, when she came out and started speaking about like questioning what was going on with 9/11, oh, y'all were trying to crucify her. And then decades later, you realize she and so many others were right. Sent us into a war that wasn't even with the right people. Anyway, so Frankel went on to compare Bad Bunny's performance to past controversies involving comedians and actors, including Dave Chappelle expressing transphobic views on stage in 2001, and Billie Eilish recently blasting ICE during her 2026 acceptance speech. She said, "Where's the wait? How do you compare what Bad Bunny did to?" I'm confused. So she used I need to see this video, but apparently she removed it. Maybe it might be on Twitter or something, and I didn't even feel the need to even look it up. Because when people remove stuff, it do end up in other places. But I didn't even bother to check. And I don't feel like looking for it. But just me thinking about it right now, I'm like, wait, what some people take offense to the fact that you have this cisgender male always using a trans community. Now, don't get me wrong, I love an offensive joke if it's set up in a way where it's meant to be funny, not in a way of like more of a Tony Hinchcliffe type of way where it's like, oh, look, we said a derogatory word. Ha, 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 ha. And then it was like, okay, so you said the derogatory word, but where's the joke? Where's the setup? Where's the point of you using whatever slur or whatever the case is that you wanted to use? You're doing it for shock value. You're not doing it as a way of like making a point or having more of a sense of, okay, let's laugh. I'm not looking for a moment for shock value sake. So I'm kind of confused of why she would even bring that up in the same thing of what Bad Bunny did. With Bad Bunny's political stance, as y'all want to call it, because it is kind of in a way a political stance, that was him sharing light on the fact that these lies that this regime is putting on Hispanics, calling them animals and all these other things, and some of the wording that the new border czar or the border czar has put on because he took over that previous job that was by damn, I forgot his the guy that stepped down. But now that he's doing two jobs, you're not good at either one. Some of the wording and the phrasing that he's used is rooted in bigotry and ignorance. So someone shining a positive light on their community, I don't know how that's a line that needs to be drawn. So anyway, she waited and said, "Where's the line?" Arguing the daytime television hosts like Live with Kelly and Mark, stars Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, are not allowed to express their opinions about anything going on. And yeah, with them being on daytime, that's why the daytime has been painted with this brush of they're boring. And a lot of their shows are being canceled. And with the shows being canceled, um, that's why now I'm hearing that they're going to be putting a lot of those slots instead of them looking to put new talk shows on because they're too expensive, according to them. They're going to fill it up with more news hours. So yeah, be prepared to see a lot more hour. Well, it's not on ABC, but any of those regular news shows, NBC News or whatever the case is, they're going to fill up more hours of that. And I'm like, to what? Repeating the same damn stories that y'all be repeating? So what's the point of y'all putting the news stuff in there? And quiet as it's kept, people are getting their news more from the internet than anything. So it just seems like to me the networks are trying to compete with the CNNs and the MSNBCs, even though I don't particularly care for the type of news they spew on there anyway because it's propaganda. But the real news that people are going on social media and getting in from the Kyle Kalinskis and the Sappy Sabs and the Don Lemons and the and the Joy Reids and the Hassan Pikers. Like, those are who they're getting their news from. Not trying to tune in to watch surface level shit on network television. But anyway, let's get back into the story because it just reminded me of something else based off of what she said. She said that show, they can barely discuss anything going on. It's an entertainment vehicle and they keep it that way. Well, how are you comparing with Bad Bunny, who's an artist, to a Kelly Ripa and a Mark Consuelos? They're a talk show host. So how they do their show is how they do their show. They talk about the boring banter that they talk about going on in their house with their kids and their marriage or whatever, or their little adventures, and then they bring out some boring celebrity for 5 minutes. They talk about their little movie, and then they keep it moving. But these days, the whole celebrity interview thing is nobody's really watching that anymore because now we have social media. People can go on their Instagram, whatever the case is, and become more personable with their fans. They don't need to go on a Kelly Ripa and a Mark Consuelo. So I don't understand the comparison of talk show hosts to someone like Bad Bunny, who's an artist and is using his platform to speak out on something that he finds important and uplifting his people. He's not the first one to do that. KRS-One in hip hop, because apparently, Helmet Head from Kiss got a problem with hip hop being a part of the Hollywood, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So, and who cares about what his old boomer ass got? Things his old ass out of touch behind. So, um, I just don't understand like the comparison. It's just confusing. But there was a clapback that she said that I'm gonna agree with, because shortly after posting the video, she removed it and followed up with a second Instagram reel in which she offered a far more supportive take on Bad Bunny's halftime performance because she got her ass dragged. So she went and deleted the video and then posted something else. Feel like if that's how you felt at the time, leave it up. But put a part two or whatever the case is, and say that maybe you come to a different conclusion. It just feels like to me you backpedaling. And now you want to come up with a different perspective because you said, because when you start your whole situation off with, I might get canceled for this, you're setting yourself up for the dragation. So she went on and said, so my take on Bad Bunny and his performance at the Super Bowl is that he is an artist expressing himself, his music, and his experience as a Puerto Rican man in America. Well, you could have said that shit from the beginning. She added that musicians across genres use their work to reflect culture and identity. That's why I said, like, how are you not aware of this? Like, you're not even aware of music history. He's not the first person to do this. Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican man in America on the largest stage in the world, which is very inspirational to people because that is him expressing his experience in his first language. Frankel concluded by invoking pop royalty. Madonna said it best, express yourself. She also said art is here to disturb the peace. So she also said that. Or artists are here to disturb the peace. Now, some fans speculated the quick deletion may have been influenced by intense backlash, which is what I said, faced by the former Roni co-star Jill Zarin, who was widely criticized over her own now deleted rant about Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance. On Sunday, the 62-year-old reality star shared a video blasting the halftime show, calling it the worst halftime show ever and claiming it was inappropriate for children watching at home. Oh, children being educated on something that that's different from what they were accustomed to. We don't need to go into what Zarin said because she's annoying, and a lot of what she said was just rooted in straight up bigotry and racism. Um, But then on Reddit, one user speculated Frankel may have taken down her post after seeing the reaction of Jill's. Did they put it up around the same time? Or was this after she heard that Jill got the backlash? I just need to know the timeline of when she posted her video up. Now, others rushed to defend Frankel, arguing her commentary was fundamentally different than Zarin's, which I will agree with. They said, why y'all acting so pitchforky and hysterical to any opinion? Like, calm the fuck down. The intolerance is out of control. She is asking a perfectly valid question. Another added, "This is a reach. She's simply prompting a question for the culture, which is vastly different from Jill's take on Benito's performance." Another person said she said nothing wrong. She's asking a question, and also See what happened with Billie Eilish. People from all ages and backgrounds heavily criticized her. In Bad Bunny's case, he mostly kept it cultural and inclusive, which is why it worked even if I hate his music. Well, I did hear a lot of people say that. They were like, I don't particularly like his music, or I really wasn't a fan of his music. But when I watched the performance, I definitely felt, I definitely became teary eyed. I definitely made me want to dive deep into a lot of the cultural references and all this stuff. So when you hear something like that, that definitely, I'm like, I'm all for that. And then another commenter insisted the distinction mattered, saying Jill's team is working hard to get the focus off her, even though it don't seem like she does. But Jill's a self-saboteur. And we're gonna get into her history of self-sabotage right after we do this story, because there's a lot we gotta build well in the next time when we talk about Jill. Now, meanwhile, another commenter, oh yeah, so they said Jill's working hard to get the focus off her, Bethenny giving an initial take, then clarifying it is not the same as Jill Zarin being angry no whites were shown and people singing in Spanish. Very different. Yeah, because like I said, hers was rooted in straight up racism. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the video, another concluded. That it's very different than Jill's. Others pleaded for former Roni cast members to stop weighing in altogether. Because it's like, whatever y'all talk, y'all put your foot in your mouth. Now, we do have a follow up because, I tell you, when it comes to this, yeah, these topics be long, but I got to break it on down and give you all the stuff. I'm not just going to give y'all some little, Instagram reel 2 second situation and you don't get the full story. Now, since the online backlash, um, Bethenny has taken to Instagram. Then she did it yesterday because yesterday was Thursday. Today is Friday. Guns blazing to scold her followers after her original video critiquing Bad Bunny's 2026 Super Bowl halftime show went viral. Now, with sopping wet hair, as you can see in the picture, fresh out the shower, Frankel began her reel saying, I can't even wait to get this robe. Oh, wait, she said, I can't even wait to get my robe on to say this to you. Let's say I say something wrong. Let's say I get a word wrong. Let's say for a brief second, even though I've been to Puerto Rico like 6 times, realize that it's a territory, but that it's not on the mainland, so it feels culturally different. Let's say I get it wrong. Let's say I fucking say it wrong. You have two choices. The 65-year-old, 55-year-old, look at me age on her 10 years, explain that her fans can either educate her by saying things like, I want you to understand this, or they can say, fuck you, you whore, you tales from the crypt, you skeletor, you racist, you. And she used the see you next Tuesday word. Now, in the United States of America, we have never been more fucking divided. So why not try to talk to someone who says something wrong, who has a different opinion than you, who thinks like the uncle at your Thanksgiving dinner table that you can't believe thinks that way? Which is basically what Trump is, the uncle at the dinner table who says the stuff that he says, and y'all sit and cackle and you gasp. Oh my God, I can't believe he said that. But none of you sat and corrected his ass. But if you also respond like Trump, and it's like you're trying to educate them, and they still on that ignorant racist mess, then I'm like, well, fuck you then. I ain't got time. But I do agree with her on this situation. But then she went on to say, I'm gonna finish. Let me finish what she had to say, and I'm gonna give my opinion on it. Um, Now instead of telling him he's a piece of ish and putting him in the ground, have a conversation, have a dialogue. The entrepreneur went on to slam the idea that everyone has to fit into one political box. She said, "You're either woke or MAGA." Well, I'd rather be woke than MAGA, chair. Quiet as it's kept. Is there nothing in between? Because I'm neither woke nor MAGA. You can't fucking trust, and you can fucking trust and believe. She said, arguing that both Democratic and Republican politicians have done moronic things. Well, I'm kind of confused when she says, "Well, I can understand you said you're not MAGA, but what does that?" What does that mean that you're not woke? Because you said I'm neither woke nor MAGA. I really need to understand because I told y'all what the real definition of woke means, but you already know when white people take our shit and colonize it and hijack it and turn it into something else, they flip it and reverse it into whatever it is they want to turn it into, it loses its meaning. So are you not woke, meaning that you're not aware of the different cultures and the different things and the different ideologies that's going on in the world that's outside of your learning curve? So I need more specifics on that. She said, "What the F happened to us? Life is not a zero-sum game. We're human beings, so if I say something that effing bothers you, let me know in a constructive way so I can change. If you want to put me in the goddamn ground, wait for it, baby, because I'm not effing going anywhere." Now, Bethenny insists she's one of the only ones who will actually speak their mind, claiming internet users just want mommies that will say what they program them to say. She further claimed that those unnamed celebrities don't really believe in what they share publicly and are bullshitting their fans because they're all texting her on the side saying the opposite. Well, in the words of Sutton Strack, name them. Name them. Who are the ones out here that's out there saying one thing and texting another? Because I've been telling y'all for the long, there's a lot of celebrities out here that are very performative, that sit and act like, oh yeah, I'm so pro this and team this and all this other mess. And they be the main ones who be over there with them conservatives. So you can't always believe what your fave be out here acting like they representing, because a lot of these celebrities are phony as hell. The skinny girl found her stress that she keeps it real, explaining, when I talk to you, I'm talking live and direct. And if I feel something, think something, say something that's wrong, correct me, educate me, discuss with me. But I think that's also a New York thing. Shows us that this country needs an effing dialogue. The country is not red or blue. This country is red, white, and blue. Oh Lord, now when you put that white in there, you know what it gives. Oh, yeah, emphasis on the white. The country is Puerto Rico, it's Texas, it's South Carolina, it's New York, it's Jewish, it's Catholic, it's Muslim, it's effing everything. Now, she concluded her message by ordering her followers to stop bullying her, saying, I'm not tolerating this anymore. You want to go? Let's effing go. You're not going to take me down, but I would prefer to have a conversation. You're welcome. She also wrote atop the footage, "This is who I am. Follow me or cancel me." I don't know if I had that picture, but yeah, that was definitely in the headline or whatever. But here's the thing, like, yeah, I don't feel like what she said was bad. I mean, I was picking apart a lot of the things that she was saying. I was like, okay, what does she mean by that? But compared to what Jill Zarin said, I'm all for having a genuine, open dialogue with people who may say something ignorant and bigoted. Excuse me. I'm definitely looking forward to that. If I can have that conversation with, and trust me, believe, there have been times where I can sit and have conversations, and white people who are older than me have been set in their ways about certain things, and I'll slip it in there. This is this, and this, and fill it in. And a lot of times when they're like, okay, I get it, I apologize, and I understand all of this stuff. When I can have that dialogue with people, I like having those type of dialogues because we used to do that back in the day before social media became what it is. Now I just feel like people be out here looking for a scapegoat. People look for a reason to be angry. People just, it's like that's the one is that the one emotion that a lot of y'all like tapping into, is just being pissed off and angry and just rage baiting people on social media, or just wanting to feel? Is that like a thing that makes you feel a little something in between your legs or in your loins and your heart or whatever the case is? Like I just don't get that. So my thing is, yeah, if somebody says something, I'm gonna write something in an encourage. Like if I be in the beginning, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be wanting to go and let have a cuss a bitch out. But I'll put something in there where it's like, I want to talk to you at a way where I'm not talking at you or I'm talking down to you, that I'm going to just have that genuine conversation so that when you understand that what you're saying is a little ignorant and this is why. So that's probably why she put that second video up, because people were just dragging her. She was reading the stuff in between the muck of the dragation. There was probably somebody in there who basically said to her, because I was trying to see if I could find that thing where it was talking about, wait, because it was like, yeah, this article was a long one, so it's like trying to find the thing where it was basically talking about like the history of Puerto Rico and all those other things, where it's saying like he was a man in America with a large stage in the world, which is very inspirational to people because that's him expressing his experience in his language, which is literally what that was at the bottom line. So all these other little narratives that certain people trying to put up, come up with, it's a bunch of BS. But um, regarding the faux Claren outrage, and that's with 3Ks against Bad Bunny's performance, what I want to do with this whole thing is, there was something that I saw since we talk about housewives. Candace Dillard Bassett posted this on Twitter that I had come across, because she's on the Trader. Wait, is she still on the Trader? I told you I'm like 3 episodes behind, so I don't even know if she's still on there or whatnot. Did they find out she a traitor, or is she still up there fooling everybody or deceiving people? So um like I said, I do believe in the whole thing of taking the time to talk to people. But if you're gonna be caught up in your own privilege and ignorance, then I ain't got time for it. But anyway, she said the following, and it's a thread. It was like in 4 parts. She said, y'all need to learn how to appreciate people, places, and things that are not like you. English is not the only language that matters. Yeah, because we don't have a distinctive language in this country. Now, we have people like Megyn Kelly, long jawed ass, that want to make English the official language. But y'all seem to forget, weren't we colonized by the Spaniards and other people before it came down to, English being the colonizers' language in America? Because English is from England. So we've been colonized quite a few times. There have been many people who claim that they discovered America that have come here and their languages have become the melting pot. So English is the foundation. It's mostly what people speak here, but it's not the only language. So yeah, English is not the only language that matters. English speakers do not need to be centered in everything. America is a land made richer because of, well, they said because of her immigrants, but I think she meant because of immigrants. Now, some of us came here by choice, some of us didn't. All of us deserve to be seen, heard, and represented. Like, why do I even need to say this? The entitlement it takes to believe art must translate itself for your comfort is wild. Instead of getting on Beyonce's internet to run your mouth, you could have sat there and swayed to the music. The Super Bowl halftime show was representation personified, artistic expression, a signal to the diaspora, a nod to resistance, and a reminder that culture does. Wait, is there more to it? Because I feel like it cut off. Oh no, so no, it was the next one. So it said, a reminder that culture does not need your permission. You don't have to understand every word to understand that it wasn't made to exclude you. It just wasn't made to center you. And that's okay. And I couldn't have said it better myself because I totally agree with Candace. It's like, yes, what some of y'all need to realize when y'all be coming up here with these little microaggressions and your little racial big, undertone, because y'all will say everything but the N-word. So you got to find new other ways to come in and indoctrinate and put out your little racist situations like we ain't catching it. But a lot of us people of color, we've been raised to clock the microaggressions and your little code words that y'all like to use. It's like, yes, just because they were speaking Spanish and there was things and we got to look into what he said. It's like everything ain't about you. And that's fine. Just like there have been many a times where I've watched the Super Bowl halftime special and many other performances that I've seen that I didn't like and I didn't get. And it wasn't for me. And that's fine. But if you liked it, that's great. If you didn't like it, that's great. But when you come up with all that extra seasoning that y'all want to put on the reasons as to why you didn't like it, is why we got to go in and cuss your ass out. So that's why we said, we're saying what we're saying. But I think also we need to move off of this and realize that a lot of this infighting, like I said before, this regime wants us with the infighting, with talking about Bad Bunny and those dangerous Hispanics and all this other stuff, while they continue this current regime continues to do their criminal activities of robbing and pillaging and raping this country of its resources and other countries. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Bethenny Frankel going in and letting have on people dragging her over her comments regarding her asking a genuine question about Bad Bunny and should artists be using their platforms to be political? When I'm like, sis, if you know anything about art, art has always been political. Long before speech replaced sign language. You just ain't been paying attention, probably because you just been in your little white lady silo and just keeping the blinders on. And if it ain't bothering you, you're not paying attention. Or because it's not your experience, you're not paying attention. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Believe it or not, I would actually want to go to Cardi's show, and that's coming from a retired Nicki fan. Her tour is not the same quality as Nicki's last tour. Wait, you said her tour is of the sorry, I read that wrong. You said that her tour is of the same quality as Nicki's last tour. Nicki had a good stage setup. It was just the way that that show was put together was a mess. That too. White people are mad and scared that the US and rest of the world is moving on with the absolutely, and that's what it is that look, we did a whole story on the show and hey Sailor Mermaid, because you just slipped up in here. But there was a story that I told you that came out the other day. They said for the first time, and they said it was going to happen around 2030, that white people will be surpassed in regards of how many children different um culture, I mean, what different demographics of people are having. So there was like blacks, Hispanics, and Asians combined are surpassing white people, and white people aren't having children. So they said it was going to happen in 2030, but yeah, it's happening now in 2026. So that's why they're gagging, is the fact that um a lot of that power is being lost. So they want to sit and spew all this. Oh, they're trying to steal your this, and it's the trans people, and it's these people of color trying to steal your jobs. And it's like, but the reality is they want to keep the root of racism going. So they play into y'all fears. And fear is definitely a motivation. Bunny gave nothing but light. These celebrities travel the world and expect the globe to know English. Tone deaf, rich white people. Absolutely, because there's plenty of artists out here. I don't understand the word they be saying. Like I said, I be listening to Afro beats. They don't all be speaking English, but I like the music. I like the rhythms and the beat. That's what keeps me moving. I listen to Pablo Vittar. I don't speak Portuguese, but I like some of their songs. Um, who was last night? I worked Ricardo Arjona. I worked his show. Um, it was a good show. I ain't know none of the music, but I like the stage. I love the stage setup. Stage look really cool. And then he has like a B stage, which is like another. That's like the second stage, and you go to from the main stage. And so it was a great show. He put on. He sang for like damn near 4 hours. I'm like, damn, it's cool. Shout out to all of you artists that get up there and do 3+ hours of a show. That's a lot to be up there singing. Um, but yeah, so that's what I say. I like all different types of music because I'm a fan of music. That too, culturally changing, and they can't take it. I watched Love Story. Oh yeah, I saw that came out because I was on Hulu yesterday because I was watching Predator Badlands for the third time because it's on Hulu now. If y'all haven't seen it, I was watching it on my way home because the trains were a mess coming home last night. It was pissing me off. So I was like, I just put a movie on. And I was watching Predator Badlands and I saw it was up there. I'm like, oh, so the JFK thing came out. You said, and I was immediately hooked. I've heard it's actually good. But, when Ryan Murphy, I always side-eyed a little bit, but I might check it out. Not the Bethenny Files. Thanks, Onyx. I was on the fence about that one. I was worried it would. Yeah, I was wondering, but when it comes to Ryan Murphy and them, they sensationalize stuff to make it entertaining. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know what? Foot and mouth. I mean, when people put their foot in their mouth, the one thing I always try to look at it, the way I try to look at it is the fact that if at least it invokes dialogue. But if you come at it like how Jill did, like I wanted to dive through the screen and slap the shit out of her when I heard what she said. I'm like, is this Karen serious? And she said that shit with a straight face because she was in that room with them people and they feel like how she feel and they was probably egging her on. And when you at the Super Bowl parties or whatever, you have a couple of drinks. I know I was at one and I had a couple of beers, so I was a little lit. And it's like you around people and y'all drinking and stuff, but I don't hang around bigots. That's the difference between me and her. Um, I don't know if you were sir or ma'am or ma'am. I understand that it's the Super Bowl. And no, English should not be the language all of America's watching. Who gives a fuck whether or not you want what specific language to be saying at the thing? If you don't want to watch it, change the fucking channel. You do know that the remote in your hand, you have the power to turn whatever channel you want to turn. So if you have a problem with it, flip the channel, bitch. Nobody gives a fuck. Well, we know that too. Don't even get me started on the whole Israel situation. Who gives a fuck what this old tired ass Sarah bitch gotta say? Girl, go suck a dick in a dark alley with a gun in your head. Like, get the fuck out of here with all that ignorant shit. Yes, I be going in. I don't give a good goddamn. Okay, let me relax because some of these people on here be working my root canal nerve, and it's Friday the 13th. That's probably why. There's a lot of people out there doing Jason marathons. Some sir. Don't come at me with that. I mean, I know I'm a sir, bitch, but I could definitely sense the tone in which we're trying to use that. Because they don't play with me, ma'am, madam, hunt. We don't call you that. You a cunt, bitch. But anyway, let me move on. Speaking of cunts, let's talk about Jill Zarin. So apparently, we have an update on this whole Real Housewives situation. Well, the Real Housewives of alum, a Real Housewives alum. We got her replacement on who they found to bring her on it. Because before I was saying, oh, maybe we should get Bethenny to be on there. Bethenny would be a good idea, but I don't know. The way Bethenny been acting, I mean, we already went through the whole video with her. I don't think she wants to come back to reality TV. So if not, they found somebody else. So because she got fired over what she said about Bad Bunny. So it was recently announced that Zarin was set to star on E's upcoming Real Housewives of New York reunion docuseries, The Golden Life. She was to reunite with her former co-stars Sonia Morgan, Luann de Lesseps, Kelly Bensimon, and Ramona Singer, which we all thought Ramona would be the one that would be the problematic one, but it wasn't her. She was surprisingly well behaved this time around, or kept off the internet. They was like, "Don't do it, niece." So after she posted the video, she took it down, then she got axed. So now, according to Page Six, they run pick Dorinda Medley is going to be taking over Zarin's spot on this show called The Golden Life. Now, Medley, who appeared on Roni for 6 seasons, was among the Bravo stars who publicly condemned Zarin for her halftime show comments. So in a way, I'm hoping that she did it because it was the right thing to do and not a way that she thought, oh, maybe if I actually go against what this old Clarence said, then and then I found out she had said some problematic shit about some real bigoted shit about Zoran. I didn't even know that she said something about Zoran Mamdani. I got so wrapped up in that idiot Michael Rappaport saying stuff about her that about him, that I didn't know that Jill Zarin, or sorry, Jill Claren, because that's what we're gonna call her now, um, had came out and said some stuff about Zoran. So I'm like, okay, bitch, take your ass down to Palm Beach. We don't need you up in New York if you're gonna have a problem with a democratic socialist Muslim running New York City. I guess you all for corruption, like from people like Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams. And that's what you want. You want same old status quo bullshit. Where he spent more time going to the clubs and hanging out with celebrities and doing your actual job as a mayor. So they already said that Medley was already expected to take part in the series. So I guess they were going to have her come in like a guest star or something or another, or have her pop in and out, maybe a friend of. And I guess because of the whole Jill thing, they were like, you know what? We already got Dorinda a part of the show. Why not just make her full time? But the question is, since the show was going to be taking place in Florida, does Dorinda have a place down here? I know she got a place in the Berkshires as they called it, but I think it's in Connecticut. I know she has that place, and they said that she was going to be doing something like a show about repurposing her home or whatever the case is. But I guess for the show purposes, she could just rent a house down in Florida if she doesn't have one and fake it like she been living down there. I mean, they all do all that stuff on these reality shows any damn way. So the network was reportedly planning to announce Medley's role in the show closer to the premiere date before they decided to have her replace Zarin as a main cast member completely, per the outlet. 2 days earlier, E Network announced that Zarin was removed from the cast after her comments about Bad Bunny's performance during her Super Bowl halftime. Um, okay, we don't need to recap what she said because we don't give a fuck. So yeah, so congratulations, Dorinda. I want to see what else she was up to. Oh, so then it was, of course, we had some people out there. Bazoma St. John said, I'm not taking a side. I mean, I'm not taking a side yet. It's very clear that she's taking a side. Talking about Jill Claren. Then we had wait, I'm trying to see because it says wait, okay. So amid the backlash, no, I don't care about what Jill had to say. We already went through that already. in the recent thing. So they said, okay, now I got it where I want to go. While appearing on the Reality Checked podcast this week, Medley condemned her former co-star's remarks and said she disagreed with absolutely everything she said. Medley said she was horrified by Zarin's comments and added that she is so proud of Bad Bunny. We woke up today to Jill giving her opinion on it, Medley wrote said on the podcast episode. I don't need to tell you her opinion, but I disagree with absolutely everything she said. I don't think you can walk away from what we had the luxury of witnessing yesterday. The effect that it had on so many people, especially people that are frightened right now, that are faltered, he created hope. And I felt sentimental about that Super Bowl halftime performance. I think the world has said it already, but I do not agree with any of it. Well, finally, a hot spot with some damn sense. So, Bazoma St. John, we already said what she had to say. And then said, I, on the other hand, well, I'm going to continue what she had to say. She said, I, on the other hand, love Benito's show. It's for its beauty, culture, history, and message. Chanel Ayan from the Housewives of Dubai posted on social media that she was seriously disgusted by Zarin's comments. But here's the thing. Nobody should be surprised by Jill Zarin and the stuff that comes out of her mouth, because for years people have been saying that lady is an evil, see you next Tuesday, and problematic. And when I play all this clip from Reza, from formerly of Sean's of Sunset, but I think he's on a new show on E. I mean, not E. On is it E or Bravo? I don't know. I don't watch Bravo shit no more. I don't know what they got on their channel. But anyway, he's on this new show that's supposed to be like Shahs of Sunset, but it's a new type of show with Persians. He went in and spilled some tea about her, Jill Claren. Oh, and also to wrap this up, Dorinda they said she was developing a new show about her gilded home, Bluestone Manor, as well as hosting her Sirius XM radio show, Let's Talk and Make It Nice. She also published Make It Nice, because you know that she became iconic off of that phrase, a memoir named after her iconic Roni catchphrase in 2021. She also appeared in seasons 2 and 4 of the Ultimate Girls Trip version of Housewives. So yeah, so good on you. I like Dorinda. I don't know if she's still on the Traders, but I've always liked Dorinda. I actually got to meet her and so when I worked on that season with the Sin and the Clowns Big Apple Circus episode, when they was all up in there filming for that, for the show. They were in my section. So shout out to you, Jill. You a mess. And yeah, so I want to play all this clip because, speaking of which, of Reza spilling tea about Jill and saying that, I don't know why y'all surprised by how this lady is. She always been this way. And how they even had a beef at one point. So yeah, he went and talked to Page 6 Radio where he was spilling tea. So we're going to play what he had to say and we're going to come back and talk. Please hold.
But you've had experiences with Jill in the past. You were on a show together.
We did The GOAT together a few years back.
Yeah.
And when Shaw's was in its heyday, she had been fired from Roni. And she came out against me and was like saying, Bravo's gone to the gutter. He's at a gay bar sniffing armpits. And I ended up at a dinner party with her. She had to write an apology card and gave me some cookies. So I was like, you know what? Let me give this lady another chance. I don't even know her. And then we did The GOAT together and it went left. And I was like, okay, girl. Everything I've learned and I've been told about you, because everyone warned me about her.
Really?
Everyone at Bravo had warned me about her. And I was like, okay, they were all right. I should have never...
When you went back, when you had your reintroduction to her with The GOAT, was she just treating you like shit? Was she treating everybody like shit? Like, what was the...
No, I thought she was my friend while we were there. And I get that it's a competition show, but like, I realized, she's not only is she working against me, but like she's in everyone's ear about me. And I was like, okay.
And let me just say, shaming you for sniffing another man's armpit is severely homophobic, because that is
also, does she know?
We love a sniff.
Does she know a large portion of Bravo's demographic? People watching?
Clearly not, because she's been spending so much time at Mar-a-Lago. She forgot that, like,
She's like, oh, okay, I forgot that what Bravo. Well, I guess she wouldn't surprise me that she forgot about Bravo because she hasn't been on it in a decade and a half, even though she tries to act like she's.
But when you get when you forget and
Mhm.
she can't get out of her own way.
Yeah.
She really can't
know.
help herself.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, with the Roni legacy show that fell apart, it was because she was apparently too greedy and felt like she wasn't getting enough money, which
While I
whatever.
was at the GOAT and we were standing in the doorway walking out to do a competition, she said to me, "You know that show fell apart because of me. I wanted the same amount they were paying Luann, and they told me that I didn't deserve it because Luann had been on this whole time and I wasn't, and I demanded the money." And she was proud that the show had fallen apart because she put her foot down and was demanding money.
Okay.
Wow. But you
All right. So I don't know why anybody's surprised about it, but that is hilarious. The level of delusion from Jill Claren, where she thinks that she was going to be paid on the same level, because wasn't she fired from Real Housewives of New York and during the 4th season? So no, if you've been off the show for a minute, you don't get to come back on the show and have a moment, because who are you? You don't need that money. But shout out to y'all over there at Page Six Radio, and shout out to you, Reza, for spilling that tea. Because one thing about the gays, if you try to come for us, you try that mess, oh, we gonna spill your tea. Now, last but certainly not least, let's get into this, because I just all want to wrap it up with this whole Jill Claren situation. Andy Cohen then weighed in on the situation finally, because she was over there at Bravo at one point. There was one big thing that came out where they said about him. I don't know if it was true in regards of him going in on his clapback regarding Jill. I don't know if I saved it. Hold on, let me see if I got it in my. Of course, when I need it, I don't save it. Of course, when I need it. So yeah, there's that. So I guess we're just gonna have to do without it. So okay. So then in the meantime, Andy Cohen has weighed in. I think he went on his radio show, whatever the case is, and he said he don't really have anything to say about Jill being fired. And he also added on his Sirius XM show, he said, if you want further comment, call E. He said, I mean, especially someone who was let go in season 4, talked about it with me so much on camera, off camera, was finally coming back, and then a week after the announcement. But I will never get over the sight of the Zarin Fabrics Instagram account, where he continued posting a picture of Jill with an X over it, with an X over her face. I never thought I would see the day. And you throwing shade? It definitely feels like he's not really a fan of hers. Now, as y'all know, Zarin starred on Roni for 4 seasons, from the show premiere in 2008 to 2011, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So, and then Zarin Fabrics did jump in, because I told y'all that the Zarin Fabrics company, they did jump in because people was dragging them over what she said. But they had to let them know that they firmly stand against racism, discrimination, and rhetoric, because Bobby's kids run that business. Jill probably just being what do you call it? A widow. That's what she is at this point. She had nothing to do with Zarin Fabrics. And they said that we want to be absolutely clear that Jill Zarin has not had any ownership, or has had ownership, or been associated with Zarin Fabrics for several years. Our company operates independently, and any public statements attributed to her are made in a personal capacity and do not reflect our values, beliefs, or operations. So if y'all believe, oh wait, let me show y'all the picture, because that what Andy was talking about. Hold on, because we like dramatic effects over here. So yeah, that's the picture of Miss Mamas with the X on her face. This is the best she's ever looked. You over here talking about Gaga and them looks, bam. It's the best we've ever seen. Jill Claren. So yeah, that's all I got on this story. So I definitely want to ask you all, what do you think of it? You know, the fact that we got Dorinda replacing her over on that new show, what is it called? The Golden Life? Golden Retriever? Golden Years? Golden Broads? Can't use the Golden Girls. That's an iconic show. But yeah, what do you think about Dorinda being a replacement? What do you think of what Reza had to say about exposing Jill Claren for the See You Next Tuesday she is, and the fact that Andy Cohen was like, no comment, but did comment. He threw some shade in her direction. Which is like, ask E. I mean, then if you ask them, then you know how I feel. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. Always thought she was a nasty woman. Definitely gave that vibe. And Dorinda is cool as long as she don't drink too much. Oh, we like drunk Dorinda. I mean, I do. Y'all are welcome. Donta was also mentioned in the second episode of JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette because of the whole Marky Mark homo situation. Who picks like Courtney Love? Cookies, OMG. No honey, keep your cookies. Okay. Luann brought a lot more story and sparkle. Exactly. We was living for Luann and all the mess she was going through. But yeah, bye, Jill. We hardly ever knew you. But it also goes so she's a queen of self-sabotage. I mean, I don't think she need the money, but fame is worth more than money. Notoriety, being on TV, getting that attention, you can't buy that. And that's worth more than the millions that some of these people have in the bank. All right, y'all. So now let's move on from one housewife to another. Let's talk about Kandi Burruss because she's going through it with this whole thing with Todd. And it looked like that they kind of spilling their tea where Todd said that she kicked him out the house. And what is it that she living that he's living in the guest house or whatever the case was? I forgot to mention that. Funky Dineva did mention the name of the woman that Todd was allegedly having an affair with. I think he said her name. Oh, it's Helen. See, that's how I remember because of Candyman. Helen. That's what he said. Her name was Helen. Begin with an H. She white. Somebody let me know what she looked like. Now, Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker's divorce battle remains heated, as evidenced by Candy's latest filings. In these, Kandi just picked at least 2 new bones with Todd. First, his living situation is ticking the Real Housewives of Atlanta alum off. Second, Kandi clearly doesn't want any scrubs. Did she write that song? Yet Todd's financial contributions to their 2 minor children, Ace and Blaze, are reportedly still lacking. Kandi filed for divorce from Todd in 2025. They've been married for 11 years, but somewhere along the way, the relationship became irretrievably broken. In her original filings, Kandi requested joint custody of their children, yet Todd later filed for primary custody, which Candy's now calling out, since allegedly Todd isn't even paying for their children's basic needs. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, Todd is currently squatting in a guest house on Candy's property, but Todd hasn't paid a single expense for the maintenance and upkeep of the home to include utilities, gas, lawn care, water, pest control, and even fees associated with the alarm system. Damn, I gotta pay a fees on the alarm system too. Additionally, his child support payments are also missing. So Candy's calling out Todd's social media posts as low-key fake. Now, as Kandi noted, she hired a nanny, and this nanny handles most of their children's day-to-day dealings, despite Todd's social media posts claiming he's an active father. Meanwhile, his wallet is also missing. Kandi claims Todd hasn't paid a dime for their kids' birthday parties, tuition, fees, school supplies, or even child support. So now Kandi is going before the judges, hoping that Todd ponies up. Likewise, when her court date arrives, Kandi will also need an order that fairly lays out their parenting times. And look, this is smart on her part of what she's doing. I feel like, yeah, when you're going to be going before the judge or whatever the case is, you need to have your I's dotted and your T's crossed and let the judge know, here's the list of things that I have been contributing while I've been in a relationship with this scrub of a man. But sis, you lay down with him. It's the same thing I said about Cardi being Offset and now Stephon Diggs. I'm going to say to you, you lay down with this scrub. You decided to get some man that was low down and a bum, or whatever the case was. And yeah, he had this little job over there at behind the scenes of the housewives, but you wasn't really out here doing stuff. And you want to know something? I hate to say it, but damn, Mama Joyce was right. Mama Joyce was right the whole time about this whole situation. And now look, you know that lady grinning ear to ear with all this tea that's coming out about this man, and the fact that Kandi finally woke up and realized what she was in a relationship with. But then again, you want to know something? To be a little more kumbaya about it, it's like, yeah, we got to work out the financials or whatever the case is. But for me, I would have been like, just to have cool heads prevail, we'll let him rent out the guest house. But I'm like, you ain't gonna be living here for free. You could pay me like $1,200 a month to stay up in the pool house or the guest house. I don't know if she got a pool, but in the guest house, You can pay me $1,200 rent. You ain't gotta give it to me. You can sell it to me. I ain't gotta see you. I mean, we'll keep up the maintenance, all this other stuff, and just so that way you can be close and spend time with the kids, if you're spending time with the kids. But you also gotta prove that, okay, now when you go before that judge, if you are a hands-on dad, you need to make sure, like y'all do with tax season, have all your receipts and show, like, okay, so I took the kids here. Here's the bill for this. I took them out to eat. Here's the receipt for this. So that way you're now fully out here looking like a straight up bum, and Kandi got one over you because you know Kandi be about her business. So good luck to y'all on this because this is a mess. And it's sad that, you know, you would think like I thought that Kandi and Todd would make it forever. I mean, y'all not gonna sit up in there being a miserable marriage like Will and Jada. She like, I'm done. I ain't got time to be out here faking the fun. Because you know, Kandi is in New York right now on Broadway doing Anne Juliet. So yeah, good luck to y'all. And I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. But I want to ask you all, what do you guys think of the latest news on Kandi and Todd and their messy divorce? I did not think the divorce would get to this point. I thought they would probably have like an amicable split. She go her way, he go his, but don't look like that's about to happen based on this recent stuff coming out. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. In the words of Countess Luann, no, it can't. Money can't buy you class. Elegance is learned, my friend. You said the lesbian and the simp. Well, according to Funky Dynamic, he pulled up on Miss Helen. I mean, she pulled up on Miss Helen when I guess she found out that her man was out here creeping. It was probably because she wasn't spending time. Because, well, when you out here being a sole breadwinner and you're not contributing much of anything, and I'm out here hustling, trying to make and like keep the lights on and supporting all the people that I support, yeah, you're gonna feel lonely, or maybe feeling less of a man because your wife is the one that's doing all the work. No, he was pulling his weight all these years with the restaurants, etc. So, and when he goes in with all this stuff, he's gonna have to prove that, yeah, I was very hands-on with the restaurants and handling all the other business. But it's getting ugly out here, and it looked like Kandi playing hardball. Well, you better step it up, Todd. All right, y'all. So we got about 4 more topics left until we are wrapping up this show. So before we get to our final 4, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And also we have membership. So if you want to become a member of the channel, you could definitely do so, contribute, whatever the case is. But if you don't want to become a member, definitely hit the like and the subscribe and the notification. It definitely helps with the algorithm and pushing the show out for more eyes to be watching this mess of a show. And thank you. Now, without further ado, let's get into some America's Next Top Model news, because we're a couple of days away. I think the docu-series regarding Top Model drops on Monday, which I'm actually looking forward to. So this thing is about to come out. Finally, hopefully it'll shut up all the damn naysayers, the one that loves going back and watching old episodes of America's Next Top Model and wants to incorporate 2026 ideologies on a show that came out in 2000 when the times was different. Now I keep getting tired of reiterating that. But apparently this show's about to come out. But Lisa D'Amato, who was on, I think she did she appeared on Top Model twice. She's coming out and basically saying that she don't trust Tyra, that she feels like all of this is some stunt queen mess, that Tyra is trying to get back in the good graces of the people, and all of this is basically a grift. So let's get into the story. So the internet is buzzing about the upcoming America's Next Top Model doc, which Netflix promises will expose the show's complicated legacy. It seems like it could be an opportunity for Tyra to finally take accountability for the toxic things that went on that show. However, not everyone is convinced. Now, Lisa D'Amato, who, you know, as I stated, was on Top Model, says that she thinks Tyra is using her forthcoming Netflix documentary to try and minimize past bad behavior that would have her canceled by contemporary standards. The LA-born D'Amato appeared opposite Banks on America's Next Top Model in the show's fifth cycle in 2005, before winning America's Next Top Model All-Stars 6 years later in 2011. Saying in order for her to save face to make more money in the future, she's going to have to take a bit of accountability. D'Amato told Page 6 of Banks' new special reality check, Inside America's Next Top Model. She estimated Banks will take about 5% accountability for her past actions. Now, a log line for the show, which begins airing on the streamer on Monday, says the eye-opening documentary series will look back on the reality show's complicated history. It will feature interviews with Banks as well as a number of show models, judges, and insiders. Because we did see that that they're going to talk to Mr. and Mrs. J. I don't know if they got Janice Dickinson. It would have been good to get her on there. Or who knows? Maybe if when she watches it, she'll give her opinion on social media, which we know people like Lisa will, and also Adrienne Curry, who has spoken out and said some things. And when we talked about, maybe it was like a couple of weeks ago. Now, D'Amato admits that she's concerned that Banks' past admitted wrongdoings linked to the TV series will be manipulated and softened in an effort to reset the narrative. The model told the outlet she'll be paying close attention to what former contestants on the series say. I know their true experience and how it affected their lives, so I'll be watching it more to see how that gets portrayed and edited. Now, D'Amato added further comments about the upcoming doc on her IG, saying that she's heard Banks has a heavy hand in the creative aspect of the forthcoming doc and will likely spin things to benefit her image. Now, I was going to say this. I don't like that idea. It's like, okay, if I'm going to interview you, that you need to come in and give your side of the story, but I don't want you trying to come in and control the narrative so that way you come out looking a certain way. So when previous for the special, Banks said she knew she went too far with aspects of America's Next Top Model. Banks in the doc said that she was trying to give TV viewers what they wanted during a time when edginess was prevalent in mainstream culture. She said it was very, very intense, but you guys were demanding it, so we kept pushing more and more and more. And D'Amato told the outlet that there was another motivating factor for Banks in admitting past mistakes: profit. She said Tyra's all about making money. She doesn't have any real empathy for people, for anybody else but herself. And I'm going to say that, you want to know something? I agree with Lisa on that. Like, it probably was in a way that she didn't have empathy and she cared for no one else but herself. And it's like, when you're doing reality TV, yeah, there's a lot of risks, and they don't have unions and things to protect a lot of these contestants come on these shows who are just looking to, make their dream a reality. And so she's saying we wanted more and more and more and more, but there should have been some type of a bar that you would have set to be like, okay, so how far can we push this? But you have to realize, back in the days of reality TV, it was a no man's land. It was like there was no far you could go. I mean, we saw it with the talk shows. Like when daytime talk shows was going in ski when it came to some of the topics and the subjects that they would cover, until it got really bad on that Jenny Jones episode, where the guy came on and told another guy that he had a feelings for him and ended up pow right after the show. So there is a bottom that you can hit when it gets bad to the point. But it was a lot of times in those days, people were pushing the boundaries of reality TV and saying, like, what crazy shenanigans could we come up to put these contestants in? Putting white girls in blackface so that way they can understand what it's like to walk in a black person's shoes. But I'm like, you putting on makeup where it look like their face is full of soot is not going to make them understand the black experience. So now in a preview for the special, D'Amato suggested that ANTM was more psychological warfare than a proper modeling competition. She said in the clip, "I trust you with my dreams. How dare you take my effing life away from me?" D'Amato said in her Instagram that she was just doing God's work and speaking out against injustice. She added, "Stand for something or fall for anything." Now, D'Amato is currently residing in southwestern Europe, caring for her ailing father, who is battling type 2 diabetes and multiple sclerosis. Well, I didn't know she was living in Europe. She also told Daily Mail in 2025 that she and her father ventured overseas as it says, as medical refugees, thinking he could get better health care there than in the States. Look, another story we're talking about where they're talking about like America has shitty healthcare, which we do. She said, my dad was not well. I took him out of the U.S. and he's thriving. The USA was basically eating him alive and made my dad like a vegetable while robbing him blind. Since moving my family, I guess it's the new American dream to get out of the United States. Well, damn. Well, if that's the way you put it, I'm kind of with you on that, sis. But in this situation, I just feel like we should just wait and see what this show gives us before we come out with a genuine, full-fledged opinion on it. Because I just feel like before the show's even aired, Adrian Curry giving full-on, citations, giving a whole TED talk on what she think is going to come out on the series, and now Lisa D'Amato's doing. I'm not trying to just diminish your experience, but let's wait until the show airs on Monday before we all start coming out with these multiple videos. Because I'm sure after this is done, we're gonna be revisiting not only her and Adrian giving their opinion, but other top model girls that are gonna come out and give their opinion on what they thought of it. And we'll just have to wait for that to happen. Now, before we get up out of here off this subject, I do want to get in this story because this might make Lisa even more upset. Because word on the curb is they're planning on reviving America's Next Top Model for this new generation. I don't know how y'all gonna feel about that, but yeah, Tyra said that her work is not done. That she's looking to bring back the show for Cycle 25. So the former host and model announced the show's comeback in the third episode of the Netflix docuseries. Why y'all revealing shit before we watch it? That's what I hate about these shows or whatever. Like, I mean, these articles. Y'all will sit up here and reveal stuff and then not, like, y'all could have used that as a surprise. So yeah, she announced the show's comeback in the third episode of the Netflix docuseries Reality Check, America's Next Top Model, which delves deeper into the problematic elements of the show. According to Entertainment Weekly, Banks confirmed the series will return for season 20 for cycle 25, but that's what they call them, after its last run in 2018. Damn, it's been off that long? Almost 10 years. While further details have not been unveiled quite yet, Banks said, after the show, I had so many different ideas for my life. I'm obsessed with pivoting, and I live in Australia now. She continued, I feel like my work is not done. You have no idea what we have planned for Cycle 25 right before the docuseries ends. The publication says they reached out to Banks' team for comment, but did not immediately hear back. According to EW, Banks previously stated she was open to bringing the show back and hinted that it would be an all-star season featuring contestants from different seasons. However, over the years, fans have scolded Banks for allowing and indulging in the show's more problematic elements and challenges, including having models in blackface, the judges body shaming for the contestants, and not protecting a model who was inappropriately touched during a photo shoot challenge, to say the least. Banks has addressed the backlash to the show. Just last year, she acknowledged that there were some missteps while speaking at the Essence Black Women Awards in 2025, where she said, did we get it right? Hell no. I said some dumb shit. She went on to say, but I refuse to have my legacy be about some stuff linked together on the internet when there were 24 cycles of changing the world. And I'm so excited that I and so many of us have opened the door for others to follow. So the show airs on February 16th on Netflix if you care. But in regards to bringing back America's Next Top Model, do we want it? Do you really want it? Do you really want it? I don't know whether to say yes or no. I mean, I like America's Next Top Model back in the day, but when you've had your little RIP moment, when you actually put when you put the dirt over the body and you put the tombstone on the thing, you revisit it every now and again, like for nostalgia's sake. But to bring the show back, I don't know if I care. And I feel like if you're going to do America's Next Top Model, I just hope, because you already know people are going to have their pitchforks out and they're going to be ready to pounce. Any little thing y'all do, anything y'all put up in there, because they're already coming out critiquing the old shows. So if you try to bring it back, I don't know. I just feel like people are just going to find a reason to just pick it apart, especially in this generation that is going to be up in here watching it. So good luck, Tyra, if this is the plan of what you want to do and bring the damn show back. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? You looking forward to checking out this docuseries when it comes out on Monday? And now that they've already let it out the bag that they're going to be bringing back America's Next Top Model, or they're looking to bring it back, Would y'all be here for a revival of America's Next Top Model? I mean, how is modeling today? I guess as a judge, they probably would look to somebody like a Kendall Jenner, but these Nepo babies that's running around being the new supermodels, y'all are not interesting. Y'all are no Christy, y'all are no Naomi, you're no Linda Evangelista, you know, yeah, you're not any of the big major girls. Child, you're not even I was gonna say you're not even giving me Iman. So let me know what you guys think of what was the other one? The one that looked like she was on the heroin. Kate Moss. You're not even a Kate Moss. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Hold on. Damn, Magical Mermaid's going in. He's not really feeling Miss Kandi. He said he was helping her produce Broadway a bit or her traveling. Yeah, he was basically the trad husband and helping her with her businesses. So for Kandi to sit up in there and say that it was all for like he wasn't helping unless you basically were just putting his name on stuff just to make him feel like he was doing something, and you're gonna say it was all you. But if he invested some of his money or whatever, like you can't sit up here and make it seem like he was a bum. Did you hear that Funky said that lady Todd was stepping on? Helen. Yeah, I talked about that before, but during the thing, during the topic, Aim Helen and that Kandi pulled up at our house like she was like she was Bernadine in Waiting to Exhale. Well, USA, Lisa, not you writing Lisa like Lisa from Blackpink. Well, Lisa, we knew Tyra was messy all those years, but we gave her a pass because she was goofy and actually gave us a bit of what we wanted. Yeah, exactly. And y'all got to realize that it's a competition, but it's also a reality show. It's the same argument we can make about RuPaul's Drag Race. RuPaul's Drag Race is a competition, but it's also a reality show. So you got to put all those things in there for dramatic effect. It was a straightforward competition. Y'all would not watch. So yeah, based on some of them crazy challenges, we had to make them walk in like 8-inch platform heels or walk on a moving platform and see them bust their ass and fall off the thing. I mean, we was all up in there laughing. I'm not saying I mean it's messed up, but you got to come up with creative ways to keep eyes on the show. And they do all kinds of crazy stuff with models in real life on the runway. I mean, Tyra's much younger, and those models could be called on some issues too. What we need to talk about is how networks like Fox, UPN, and CW use Black centric. So, child, I have been talking plenty about that, and how they would use Black centric shows to build their network, because that's what Fox did with Living Color and Martin and New York Undercover and so many of the other shows. And then when it became big enough, then y'all shifted to Married with Children and all the white shows. WB did the same thing. Black centric. Y'all put Cleghorn on there. Y'all put Robert Townsend had a show. Y'all had the Wayans brothers. Y'all put all them shows on there. Jamie Foxx. And then same thing with UPN, Moesha, all of those shows. And then y'all shifted to the white shows. The fact that Tyra is featured makes me think it won't be too much of a hit piece. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of worried about, but I'm gonna watch and give my thoughts. Oh, so you want an 8 episode, so you want 8 episodes of the top model because you said 8 weeks. Maybe more of a point system the first half. None of the winners from this show became supermodels. There are hardly any today. When you really think about Kate Moss's discovery was also a storyline. Jesus. It's funny. I'm bringing up all the people and you like, oh, they was also brought up in the JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette movie or series. Yeah, but that's true. It's like you're talking about all stars, and girl, you waited late. You waited almost a decade to do an all star. Like, no, I mean, if it was Drag Race, it's different because we still remember the girls. But this is like, no, I'm not. You got to come up with something. I think you got to come up with a new revival with new models. But yeah, the supermodel is not what it used to be when we were coming up. So I don't know if people would care. But anyway, there is a story I do care about, and that's my boo thing, David Archuleta. So let's talk about him, because apparently he's opening up about how he almost contemplated suicide. He tried to take his own life, which I'm kind of gagging about, because I was like, no, I like David, but you know what? He's got to he's got to tell his story, and how like religion played so much of a big role in, you know, a lot of the self-hatred that he was coming around with. So American Idol alum David Archuleta revealed more details about his struggles with his sexuality in his new memoir, Devout: Losing My Faith to Find Myself, out on February 17th. And an excerpt from his book published by People, the My Little Prayer singer wrote about how his Mormon faith kept him from accepting his sexuality, so much so that he was nearly driven to unaliving himself. Now, the American Idol runner-up, who is queer, tried to repress his attraction to men growing up and throughout his 20s, even getting engaged several times to women. Archuleta shared that in 2021, after years of praying and change, which a lot of gay boys tend to do, and girls, but since we're talking about the homosexuals, we're going to talk about the men. He reached a breaking point and planned to die by the S word. I was almost willing to give up my life because I was so devoted to what I believed, Archuleta told People, adding that when he was at his lowest, God told him to accept himself. It wasn't until then that I was like, I almost took it too far. Now, in an excerpt published on Thursday morning, Archuleta wrote about how he felt alone about 95% of the time, and he prayed more than he ate or slept. He said, I was numb to any emotion, any connection. I kept thinking, God's not there. I thought he abandoned me because he was so disgusted with me. The excerpt read, the logic flowed that if God left me with these homosexual feelings, I suppose he didn't want me to exist. I contemplated whether it would be better to admit to myself that I was gay or in my life. It was a constant, eternal war. Now, Archuleta continued, my mind buzzed with questions that what would be the most efficient way to do it, the safest way. Well, child, there's no safe way to take your life. What would cause the least anguish for my family? Well, the least anguish. I'm like, well, when you leave the world, I know like some people feel like you're being selfish, but I don't think I think in a way you could look at it as being selfish, but I also think that it comes from a place of when you leave the world, you don't realize the amount of trauma and stuff that you leave behind from the people who genuinely love and care about you and what that inflicts on them. Where you have parents whose kids have, you know, unalive themselves. And those parents, some of those parents out there were, you know, the ones that who will put their religious beliefs over their children. This is a special place in hell for y'all, if you believe in such a thing. But those who actually open up and say, you know what, I really wish that I would have been there for my child and really accepted and loved them on them and try to understand what they were dealing with, instead of putting a lot of those religious teachings that a lot of these, you know, these books and whatever, these book of fables, sky daddies, all those other mess that people believe on your children. And you don't realize the damage that you do to your kids when you tell them that they're an abomination or they're going to hell. So he said, my mind buzzed with what would be the least anguish in my family? I started going on short drives, scouting locations, looking for a place I could crash my car at a high speed without hurting anyone else. I found a place in my neighborhood with a long stretch into some trees, a big exposed wall on the I-65 freeway heading toward downtown Nashville, the Natchez Trace Parkway Bridge about 30 minutes south, which I definitely would not survive driving off because of how high it was. David said the thing that led him back wasn't the fear of dying, but the fear of not dying. He said, if I survived or broke my back, I might be paralyzed, and then it'd be impossible to try again. I'd have to exist with my thoughts for decades without being able to do anything about them. No matter what I did in this life, I would never be able to make up for being bisexual, gay, or whatever I was. I tried everything to change that, and nothing worked. I went on a mission and was an obedient servant. I confessed, felt shame, and repented. I'd been engaged 3 times. I tried therapy, and that got me nowhere. Well, it was probably the therapy because you were seeking the wrong kind of therapy. When you're talking about that you tried therapy and it got you nowhere, it was you're talking to people who are all about playing the gay away and all the other stuff. You need to go to people who generally going to tell you there is nothing wrong with you. You were born the way you are. You are who you are because of who you are. And God does not hate you for being a homosexual. Don't be out here like Donnie McClurkin faking the funk with all that self-hatred stuff. And I hate the fact that we have religions that sit here and make people feel the way that they feel. And I guess in so many ways, I felt that way as well. Whereas like when you come up growing up Catholic and you feel like homosexuality is a sin because that's what you were taught. But then when you're able to surround yourself with people who genuinely show you the other side, and it's like, you know what, there is nothing wrong with you. And luckily, me growing up in New York City in the 90s, I was around enough trans women, I was around enough homosexuals and butch queens and femme queens where they taught me how to just accept yourself and love upon yourself. And these are Black queer people. So um he just didn't have the tribe around him that were going to guide him in the right direction. Now, Archuleta wrote that after his third engagement, he had a revelation and asked God to take his same sex attraction away from him. Then he heard a divine voice speak to him in his head and said, David, you need to stop asking me this. You've been asking me this for over half your life since you were 12. I'm not going to change anything. I don't see you how you see you. It's time for you to understand that. After this revelation, he wrote that the dam of confusion and mixed messages from the church, from its leaders, from therapists, from my own self, crashed down as the voice of God flooded my head. The excerpt ends with him writing, I had spent a lifetime letting others interpret who God was for me and what he wanted for my life. But there adrift in the silence, I had finally heard the message he had for me all along. God was telling me that I was wrong to think that being gay was a mistake. I've been thinking that it would be better to end my life than to live as a gay man. But now God was giving me permission, encouragement to start dating men, something I never thought would be okay. Now, since he's released 8 studio albums, his most recent being Therapy Sessions in 2020 and 8 EPs, releasing Earthly Delights and My Only Wish in 2025. Now, in recent years, he's opened up about his sexuality and love life using a number of different labels before seemingly settling on queer in 2025. He told people at the time, for the most part, I date men, but I consider myself queer, so I'm still open to meeting girls. Was that what you were trying to put that little thing out there? But Chad, you're gonna stay with me. No, let me stop. I don't want to do the bi erasure thing. So now 35, Archuleta first rose to stardom in 2008. On the 7th season of American Idol, he was beat by David Cook, which was bullshit. He said, I still do if it feels right. Um, so yeah. So shout out to you, David Archuleta. Good on you for finally coming to terms with a love and accepting yourself. Because I was gonna say, like, well, damn, so exactly did you do to come to the revelation that you've come to? And it looks like he pretty much just wait. Because I was trying to put the thing up here. Um, but I think I've hit the peak of how much I could put up here. So I can't even put the headline. Because I was gonna say if you got any issues or whatever, let me see if I got one up in here in regards of any lifelines or hotlines for the homosexuals. Well, we'll put this one up because it's about unaliving. So yeah, if you ever feel any stuff regarding that, definitely call this number, go on the website, that sort of thing. Um, if you got any thoughts, definitely call that or get on that. Do I got any more? I don't. I wish I did though, because we definitely need one for the homosexuals. But I know, like with the gays, they what's the wait? What's the site where a lot of the young people when they thinking about taking their lives for being queer? There's a website that y'all can call for that. Definitely get into that. I don't know why I can't think of um. Let me look it up. I can say not crisis prevention, child. What's the thing? Trevor Project. I don't know why I could not think of the Trevor Project. But yeah, the Trevor Project is up there that y'all can look into that as well. And just because I want to show David's nipple again. Shout out to you, cutie. And I'm glad you're getting a revelation. And what I'm hoping is that a lot of young people that are feeling like how he felt, that, especially if you're not even just Mormon, but if you're a religious kid in general and you're struggling with your sexuality, definitely get your hands in his book. Or if you want to keep it secret and you don't want people knowing that, or stumble across the book and then your parents start feeling away and kick you out or whatever, get the audio book, listen to it. And definitely, because they ain't gonna be checking. I don't think they're gonna be checking your phone and stuff. But yeah, just like get the audio book if he has one. I'm sure he will, and listen to the book and come out and just get your life, because nobody should be out here thinking about taking their own life because people are saying that you're being gay is wrong, or people just don't approve of the way you live your life, and that's a free homo. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, you're going to get this book devout. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. You said NBC did it to a must-see Thursdays. Cosby, Different World made Thursdays before Friends and Seinfeld. Absolutely. This seems like an interesting book to read, but I barely know anything about the guy. I only heard about him from you. I remember hearing one of his songs. Well, I knew him from American Idol, but then, of course, over the years, because he's been talking a lot about his, dealing, growing up queer and Mormon and all this stuff, I have been talking a lot about him. Um, but yeah, it definitely sounds like an interesting book. And I'm sure with the memoir, you will actually get to know more about him. Amazing how we allow religious folks to control us based on a book of literal fairy tales that even they don't fully believe. Absolutely, because if they believed in half the shit in that book, then y'all would be following it. But y'all don't. Y'all like to cherry pick. Oh yeah, there was the trans lifeline. Did I post that? I think I did. I think I did. Hold on, let me see. Because I do have it. Oh yeah, so we got that as well, the trans lifeline hotline. And so basically if people want to get that, you can get that information. All right, let me see what the last couple of comments. Yes, we mentioned what cycle she was on. I told you I've had people. Yes. Wait, you said do that to you when you was in high school, and I tried to unalive myself a few times when I was a teenager. It's like, yeah, a lot of people have gone through. I believe there's been a lot of people out here who've had those thoughts. I mean, I've had those thoughts, but I was too chicken to do it. So that's why I just never did it, because I was like, I can't. So I texted 988 crisis number after my intent when I was 17. I still remember the name of the counselor. And that's always good, because it's like when people talk you off that ledge and you feel like that you have a voice, or someone that you could talk to that makes you feel like, yeah, you belong here, that you shouldn't go and take your life or whatever. That is like, yeah, I even think even down to the name, not Tatum though, Chad. Especially because I'm thinking about Scream, and we got a new Tatum in the movie. So that's what I was thinking of. But I was like, it's good when you can actually remember the names of the people that made an impact in your life. All right, y'all. So now let's get into some messy news, because we talking about the homosexuals. Y'all some perverts, because apparently Benito's Super Bowl show saw a specific Pornhub search explosion. So y'all was up in here with the fake outrage about Benito, but the real gag is y'all was up in here fetishizing the Latinos. Why am I not surprised? So yeah, there was an uptick on Cornhub, because we can't use the other word, because algorithms. So Cornhub has released data following Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show on February 8th. Cornhub has released a new report indicating that searches about Latinos and sports jocks saw a big increase following Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show, which took place just a few days ago on Sunday, February 9th. For context, these spikes took into consideration the search volume of these search terms 1 month before. The adult entertainment platform outlined in a report that categories related to Latinos saw a very significant spike in searches. Main examples can be found below. And hold on, because let me see. Because there was another picture I wanted to pick up. And so hold on, because I need to put that up for context. Excuse me, because I totally forgot to do this. Because there was another graph that I had in regards to the whole Bad Bunny thing. Is this some caps? Yeah, so it was this graph because I was like, wait a minute, I wanted to put this up. I knew it was a moment I wanted to put this up during the show. So hold on, because I'm gonna put this. Wait, is it? Oh, this one. Okay, so now it says, yeah. So here's some examples. So it's an amateur Latino up 880%, Latino solo dirty talk up 479%, tattooed Latino male up 470%. Now, it's anyone's guess what could that mean, but we could think of a reason or two. It appears that the so-called Benito Bowl also caused an increase of horny interest related to sports and athletes. They said Super Bowl up. Wait, there's a Super Bowl fetish theme thing on Pornhub. I don't know. I ain't been on there in a minute. So I don't know what kind of themes they got on there. They said up 5,632%. Jock up 4,244%. Horny college jock up 2,939%. Big dick college jocks up 958%. Funnily enough, U.S. Representative Andy Ogles actually likened the show to gay pornography. He would know. That's why I said check his hard drive. He wrote on Facebook, last night's halftime show was a disgrace and it mocked American families. Whatever, queen. Depicting gay pornography on primetime has no place in our culture. The Bad Bunny performance is conclusive proof that Puerto Rico should never be a state. Shut the fuck up, you racist cunt. You fat fuck sloppy bastard. Anyway, y'all some perverts. But I live though, because it's like, yeah, the use of Pornhub Puerto Rico dropped 29% during Bad Bunny Super Bowl. And as soon as the show ended, it went. Now I understand what they were meaning because I was confused by that headline. I was like, that it went down during the performance, and then when the performance ended, it went back up to 12%. So y'all took 15 minutes out of your, let me do the Donald Trump dance out of this during this little session to come back around and get back to your little session. If you know what I'm saying. I think you do. I think I made a good enough graph of it. But yeah, so shout out to y'all. I live for the fact that a lot of you repressed perverts were up all over the internet looking at such depravities. No, I'm kidding. Go off on whatever gets you hot. That's great. But one of the things that would just irritate me is people who be hating on the community. Y'all low key be up in your house beating your meats or flickering your clitorises to a lot of the Hispanic porn, but y'all be hating on the community. Make that make sense. So it seems they went up and brought up the whole thing about gay corn, as that moron said, and said that this depicting gay pornography on primetime, I guess they was referring to our next story because the dancer who y'all saw was in that moment of the grinderization of it all, where you saw that the dancer when he was grinding up against the dude in the car, whatever the case was. So yeah, so apparently one of the dancers who was caught up in the midst of the mess is speaking out on what happened. So Dan Santiago, for Dan Santiago, I should say, the days following his performance in Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show, or Benito Bowl, some people call it Bunny Bowl, but we call it Benito Bowl, for the uninitiated on Sunday have been very emotional. But as one half of the duo, whose moment of clear gay dancing has been memed, gifed, and lauded across the internet long enough after the final touchdown was scored, Santiago believes any homophobic backlash to the performance is absolutely ridiculous. Now, during Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show on Sunday, February 8th, which broke records to become the most watched halftime show in history, dancers Dan Santiago and Igor Faria were spotted grinding on each other. The fleeting moment came while Bad Bunny performed his 2027 name. Shouldn't even get here yet. 2025 song EO atop a white pickup truck with Santiago and Feria seen hanging out of the truck's doors, pressing up against one another. For queer viewers, the second-long scene became the subject of viral memes, which I knew was coming the moment I saw it, and fawning gifs on social media. For Republican lawmakers, it became a perfect pawn in the anti-LGBTQ culture wars. They'll find any little thing to just ignite some shit and get y'all riled up. Now, speaking of them, that's them.com. Santiago, who is straight, as is Feria, said that it was really sad that the moment was getting so much attention, considering the cultural significance of Bad Bunny's Spanish language performance as a whole. And yeah, he went and posted something on his Instagram. Hold on a second as I pulled that up for y'all. We can play this in the background. I don't got the sound on, so we won't get in trouble. He said, I'm proud to dance for an artist like Bad Bunny, who uses love to diffuse so much of the hate that's going on in the world. I'm proud to be Puerto Rican from New York, to represent my people, to represent the Latin community, our bodies, our stories, our joy seen in history. Endless gratitude for the brilliant team who held and shaped this vision with such integrity. And so, we'll get into the comments in a moment, but I just want to finish with this article. So it said, he said, I found it really sad because the performance is also bigger than that one moment, although it is really important. I think the fact that they're hyperfixating on the moment says more about them than it does about the performance. He said, adding that men will do anything to protect masculinity at all costs. Well, that ain't real masculinity if you're going to be sitting up here running around, oh my God, the children, or you're doing something remotely dangerous. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, at the end of the day, I feel like the message with Benito was the only thing more powerful than hate is love. So we have to show that if you love upon people, even when they hate your guts, that's a more powerful thing that they can't pierce with their hatred. So yeah, Brian Friedman said, I'm dead. You're the culture reset. Another person said, the internet loves you, babe. Another person said, the gays saw you, babe. It was only 1 sec on the TV, but it was the longest second. Another person said, thank you, Dan, for being our ally. You are epic, but we already knew this. Well, it's not about what you already knew. It's the fact that you have to, unfortunately, explain this shit to people because some people got head full of rocks and they don't understand what the message was that you was trying to put out there because they just want to rage bait. They want an algorithm hustle. Another person said, I knew that person looked familiar. I was boiling the entire halftime show. It was so beautiful. Congratulations. So, you know what? Shout out to you, Dan, for being an ally. And you know what? We need more straight men who are comfortable in their sexuality to take a type of stance that he does. He could have easily just sat down and kept his head down and been quiet about the whole situation, but he chose not to. He chose to be like, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to windmill hard for the LGBTQ plus community, especially being a straight dancer in a genre that predominantly does have a lot of gay people in it. And of course, he works with a lot of gay people, but whether you're in the entertainment industry, if you're with a dancer, a musician, or whatever, if you're in that space, you're encountering the people in the queer community. So for him to come out, kudos to him. But they also brought up what we said before about Tennessee Republican U.S. House of Representative member Andy Ogle slamming Bad Bunny's performance for depicting gay pornography on primetime TV. We don't need to go back into what this moron said and calling it pure smut. And I just hate when y'all use the same bullet points with all this other stuff to justify y'all ignorance. The children were forced to endure explicit displays of gay sexual acts. I'm like, what? And then women gyrating provocatively. I'm like, no, they're dancing, you dummy, because y'all don't have rhythm. And you think this is dancing, where it look like you're giving a hand job and waiting for somebody to skeet all over your face. That you think that's choreography. And also, this is the same idiot that opposes same-sex marriage. But we don't give a fuck what he got to say. So, as I said before, shout out to you, Dan, for speaking out against the bigotry and speaking up for the queer community. So, wait, before we get up out of here, here's one of the memes that I had come across that I was like trying to bring up that kind of sums up what a lot of the people were saying, the gyps, the memes, all that stuff. So yeah, they said gays be like, I know a place. Because I know there's always a situation where it's like, gays will hunch in a car, they will hunch anywhere. One time I think of that Dr. Seuss line. But yeah, it was like, I ain't gonna do that man like that. But yeah, but it's like, yeah, I mean, look, the homosexual, we know tourists, we'll find a place to hunch if you don't have a place like an apartment or something. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the Pornhub stuff? And one of the dancers from that viral moment basically is clapping back on all this faux outrage from these fake ass politicians. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. That picture of Benito in his briefs over. Okay, that's well, he is sexy, honey. He said, I will be honest, I did indeed. Messy. He said, I did indeed search up Latino and on Boyfriend's TV. What is Boyfriend's TV? I may need to look into that. Earlier this week after Benito Bowl, and I'm a Latino myself. We know. But ain't nothing wrong with looking up. Look, Hispanic people are very hot. There's a lot of good looking people in the Hispanic community. So, why not? If that's what you like. But I just hate the fact that you have, and I'm sure it's the hypocrites that was up in here doing the fetishization. That's what I'm getting at. Let's just hope this inspires the Latin community to vote more. Hello. Because one of the things that was irritating me is that with this whole situation coming out, let the Hispanic community have their moment of let's uplift their people, especially when you got them dumbass Cubans that was running around there in Florida or wherever that was voting for I will vote for Donald Trump. They was doing all that foolishness. And hopefully, like you said, that people will vote more sensibly, because that whole trying to assimilate to whiteness, you see how they feel about you. They've been telling you time and time again, from MAGA Barbie on down, have been telling you how they feel about the community. And then when you hearing people like Jill Claren and the rest of them coming out, and that's with 3Ks, as I said many a times, have come out and made their little comments. Oh, they need to speak English. And they've been doing, and that one I had to cuss out earlier up on here in the comments, that felt that she put a real big battery in her back, the big old Duracell, to come up in here and say the shit she said, and I had to drag her dumb ass by the scalp. So, hopefully you see how people feel about you. You feel like, you know what, you need to love upon yourself and stop thinking that by cucking the white people and their ideologies is going to get you the same things that they get. They white before anything else. So love yourself, be yourself, and uplift your people in your community and your culture. So I do hope that is, because like I was saying before, I had a friend that was up there, and it seemed like because of the whole thing with Bad Bunny, they wanted to trudge up old stuff and talk about, and like kind of lump those people that you talking about, the ones that had that was senseless in voting the other way. But don't get me wrong, Kamala wasn't a good enough choice either, based on her not wanting to disassociate herself from a lot of what Biden was doing, especially his stance on foreign policy, which was not his strong suit. So, among other things. But now I told her there was a recent poll that came out over on CNN, and it's talking about that a lot of people are starting to favor Biden over Trump. I said, yeah, because you see the disaster that he is. But I'm like, he was anyway the first term. Like, this man is a failure at everything he touches. I don't know why y'all surprised, but yeah, like, so I do agree with you on that in regards to the whole voting sensibly and all that stuff. So hopefully, or are y'all just doomed to repeat the same stuff over and over and over again and expect a different result? So yeah. So with all that being said, we at the end of the show, y'all. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Samuel Unfiltered. I'll be back on Monday. So have a great weekend. Hit that like button, that subscribe, also smash the notification bell. Love all your pretty faces. Love you for your continued support and jumping in the comments and all that good stuff. Hit that like, that subscribe, smash the notification if you haven't already. Become a member if you want, all that good stuff. And so yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.